All right, so very warm welcome everyone officially to the session. Great, a little bit of sharing there. It's good to do these check-ins every few days. So well done to everyone who shared, and I think that set us up nicely for a meditation. So I'm going to take you into what I call a values breathing meditation. So it's about breathing on selected values. We're a group, so it's a group meditation. Everyone's going to have a chance to choose a value. So that could be gratitude or kindness, it could be love, it could be compassion, it could be wisdom. Generally, it's a quality, right? It's a quality, a state, something that you value, and then we all meditate on it. We bring it in, I'll guide it, and you really connect to that quality with your breath. So imagine you're breathing that quality, and it's quite powerful. So we share in everyone's intention for whatever that value is. So it's a nice kind of sharing, connecting exercise. And we'll practice the deep diaphragmatic breath. So I'll ask you to hold for a little bit, power breath, and then drop into some diaphragmatic breathing with each one. So we'll do sort of 3 breaths on each one, and I'll kind of guide you through the meditation as we go, as people choose. I'll ask people just to select a value, and then don't come out of the meditation, just carry on. So if I ask you, just say it. You don't have to open your eyes, stay in the meditation, and then we'll go. I'll just guide it. And then I'll ask someone else. So just pay attention to my voice the whole time. That's important. So just any questions before we go for it? Everyone clear on what we're doing? No? All right, so just make yourself comfortable. So sitting in your favorite meditation posture, your feet shoulder width apart, back straight. Wrap your hands in your lap, close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. So breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. The subtle flow of air in through the in, draw the energy up the spine, your heart center, breathing into the crown of your head. So maximal inhale breath. Now I'm going to go with the first value. Imagine you're breathing in gratitude. So just grateful to be here, grateful for this process that's unfolding, grateful for the spiritual community we're in. Just breathe in that gratitude. Nice deep full inhale. Imagine breathing in the essence of the energy of gratitude into every pore, your body, every cell, your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in gratitude. You're grateful for Gratitude. No matter what seems to be happening in your life, what seems to happen on the level of form, you can always be grateful. It's a choice. So inhale the gratitude. And if there's anything that seems to block that awareness, patches of darkness, maybe you feel that as a kind of a fear or resentment, anger, frustration. These are all gratitude blockers. You're going to just choose to let it go now. You're going to release it from your thoughts, your emotions, your energy field. So exhale and just blow it all out. The breeze of your breath into the nothingness that it really is. Going, gone. And just rest here for a few moments in gratitude. Feeling the energy deeply. So just a couple of nice deep breaths in and out through your nose. And breathe in the essence of gratitude. Every pore of your body, every cell, every muscle, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. It's rooted in gratitude. It's a great foundation for whatever else is to come in this session. So let's ask Sally, would you like to share a value with the group, and then we can meditate on it?
Peace. Has to be peace.
Has to be peace. Okay, so just breathe in on peace. A nice deep breath in through the nose. Connect with peace. What does peace feel like? Breathe peace into every pore, every cell and muscle of your body, every part of your mind. Use your breath to infuse yourself with peace. You're in the peace of God. Peace that surpasses all understanding. Peace that knows no opposite. And then exhale out anything that's not peace. So any disturbance, any dis-ease in your energy, be aware of that. Breathe peace into it. And if you like, you can visualize a color. So what color do you associate with peace? Maybe it's a golden color, white light. White is often associated with peace. And you breathe that in. And this undoes any disease, any darkness, any mucky colors, gray and dark brown and black. These are colors of the ego. Red, just let those go with the breeze of your breath. letting it go, pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And just rest here. So another couple of breaths, deep, slow inhale breaths. Just really establish that peace. Breathe it in. Every pore, every cell, every muscle, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is infused with peace. You're in the light of peace and joy, gratitude. Kind of all go together to really connect with the quality of peace. Establish that deep, restful peace, and that stays with you as you go. So when in between, just breathing in and out through your nostrils, just be aware of the breath flowing in and the breath flowing out. Stomach rising, stomach falling. And it's a very peaceful, rhythmical breath. Keep you rooted in the base of peace, gratitude. So, let's ask Aurelie. Aurelie, would you like to share a quality with the group to meditate on? What's coming up for you?
Love.
Love. Nice. Okay, so just breathing in on love. Fusing every pore, every cell, every muscle, your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. Is in love. What does that feel like? What does love feel like? And give it a color. You know, what color works for you as love, symbolizing love? Pink, white,
Pink.
pink. Okay, so pink.
Or green for healing the heart.
Okay, so just breathe in pink or green, whichever one works for you. Green is the color of the heart chakra, it's associated with the heart chakra. But maybe it's pink. And if you don't really visualize very well, just don't worry about it. It's not really that important. It's more about feeling the energy. So what's the energy of love feel like? Another deep breath in to every pore, every cell, every muscle, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in the love. Anything that's not that feels other than love, be aware of that, breathe into it. Shows up as any tension in your body, any part of your body is disconnected from love. And exhale. And just blow all that out. Imagine it like it's like a dark cloud or black smoke leaving you. Just going going gone to the nothingness that it really is. And then you just rest in love for a couple more breaths. Deep, slow inhales and exhales. Breathing in the essence of this love, quality of it, the energy and the color, if you visualize, infused with beautiful pink light, white light if you prefer, or green, whatever you prefer. Just imagine that, or no light at all. Just feel the feeling of it. Connecting with the love. And anchor it in, so we have gratitude, peace, and love. It's a powerful combination of values or qualities. People say praying to angels. The angels are really these qualities that express the source. Angel of peace, quality of peace, felt in your own mind, felt in your own mind and heart. So angel's useless if you don't allow it in, you don't experience it. Same for love and same for gratitude. So yeah, just your intention to stay there. These are, you haven't lost these, they remain there in your base state, in your energy. So move on to the next quality. So let's ask Lynn to share. Lynn, anything, any quality, any value you want to share, and there's a color associated with it. You can nominate that as well.
Well, the word that's came before you said gratitude came up for me was appreciation. But is that the same as gratitude?
Very similar, yeah. Appreciation is maybe just more of an expression. You appreciate someone, usually, synonymous with expression, but you can't be appreciative and great and not grateful, can you?
No, true. Okay.
So appreciation if you want, or something else.
Oh, if we can do appreciation, then yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So breathe in on appreciation then. And any color that came up? Yeah.
Feels like yellow to me.
Yeah, like a sort of a light yellow type, lightish yellow or bright yellow.
Warm yellow.
Warm yellow. Okay, so breathe in appreciation. What does that feel like energetically? Breathe it into your heart center. If it helps, you can put one hand in your heart and just really connect in these qualities. Imagine the warm yellow energy flowing in to your heart, into your mind. Your energy system. Infused with this warm yellow, every pore, every cell, every muscle, your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in the light. Warm yellow. And you appreciate what you have currently. You appreciate everything that's in your life, the challenges, people, places, events, circumstances. Appreciation is a gratitude, but it's sort of quality of extending that gratitude. So maybe as you exhale, Have a sense of extending the gratitude as appreciation and thanking someone, something, whoever it is. Maybe it's everything, maybe it's spirit, maybe someone comes to mind, maybe you're thanking the abundance that the spirit's given you, physical circumstances, just exhaling and breathing in again. So that same energy, the warm yellow feeling. It's a feeling, it's a color. Breathe it into every pore, every cell, every muscle of the body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. It's infused with this warm yellow energy of gratitude, appreciation, and then as you exhale it, do it through your mouth. Have a sense of extending that outwards. So you're actually appreciating not just one person or thing, you're actually appreciating all of it. So appreciate everyone and everything in your immediate surroundings. Expand that to a particular town or area you're in, and expand it to the country, and then to the continent, and to the entire world. Breathing in that appreciation. Again, one more time. As you've given it, you've received it, flows back to you. Feel the energy more powerfully, energy field, tapping in really to the quantum field of appreciation, downloading it, bringing it in, and then as you feel it, you connect with it deeply, you extend it outwards. Express it or extend it outwards to the entire world now, and to the entire solar system and the galaxy and the universe. There's no limit in time and space to the extent of these qualities, because they are not bound by the physical laws. And just get a sense of that, appreciating that infinite abundance. Breathe it in one more time. Feel your heart expanding with it. It's warm yellow feeling in your heart. Put one hand in your heart center. And then expel it out, express it out to someone else. Something else. Choose someone specific now and just thank them. Say, I really appreciate you for who you are. They do certain things, and even do this for supposed enemy in your life, someone who's challenging you, seemingly behaving in unkind ways. You can still express appreciation, which will change the energy as well. Okay, so moving on, let's ask Yad to share her quality and color to go with it. Don't mind.
It has to be freedom.
Freedom.
Me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a rich, deep grass green.
Nice. Okay. So breathe in on freedom. Rich, deep grass green. If that resonates with you, if another color comes, then that's okay. Green's associated with heart chakra. So we find freedom in our heart when we let go of a thinking mind, all the obstacles there, and reconnect with our heart center. So breathe in freedom. huge freedom in the moment, right? So you can never be free in the future. You can only be free right now. So choose to be free right now. In the moment you experience the freedom, and recognize that it's really the same. Love, peace, joy, gratitude. This is freedom. Freedom to be who you truly are, an expanded state of awareness. So breathe that into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind. The fiber of your being is infused with this freedom. A rich green color, grass green, just imagine that. Infusing you, imbuing you with almost like you're totally immersed in freedom. Another sip of air, and you hold the breath briefly. Feel what it feels like to be completely free in your true nature, your true being, which is eternal and unlimited and infinite, and you just rest in that state. Breathe it in again. Freedom. Connect with the energy of it, feeling of it into every pore, every cell, muscle, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. Just feel that feeling of freedom, fusing every pore, cell, muscle of your body. Anything that seems to block that, become aware of that. So there could be any bits of fear, anxiety, anger, frustration, feeling trapped, stuck, and so on. Just blow it out, releasing the breeze of your breath to the nothingness that it really is. You just let it go. Follow the stomach into the groin. Just rest here for another breath. Inhale freedom. Using every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. Freedom, anchoring it into your state. So we have love, peace, gratitude, appreciation, and freedom as our foundation for the next inspired quality or angel to come in. So let's ask Susie. Susie, if you can come in and just give us your
joy and purple.
joy. Okay. Joy. So just, and it's what was the color?
Purple.
Purple. Okay. So just breathing in on joy. Visualize a deep purple, infusing every pore, every cell, every body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is joyful. Feel the happiness. Joy is about happiness. So you smile naturally, smile. Feel like you want to sing and dance. It's kind of vibrant joy is vibrantly alive peace. It's peace on steroids, shall we say. Just you feel it, connect with it, breathe it in to every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in the joy. Fused with this purple light or energy. Maximal inhale breath. Become aware of anything that's not joy, no energy, any resistance to joy. So it shows up as attachment to your old stories, to ideas of scarcity and lack and limitation. Go and experience joy if you need. So just and just blow it all out. Let it all go. Like a black smoke, a dark cloud leaving you. It's gone. And nothingness that it really is. And let's breathe in joy again. Pure light purple. Maybe it's a rich purple for you. Maybe it's violet. Violet's often associated with forgiveness. So you breathe that in to every pore, every cell, muscle of your body, imagine. And energy is infusing you entirely. You're basking in it, you're radiating it, feel it. Feel like you want to dance or sing. And while you're sitting still, it's just an ebullient, free. Freedom comes in joy. It's jumping for joy. I'm free. I'm not limited by my past conditioning and programming. I'm free to be who I really am in the moment. Celebrate that now. Breathe it in. The deepest level into not just your body, but deepest level of your mind. Psyche is fused with this joyful energy. So ultimately will heal it. And one more deep breath in on joy. Just making it part of you. It's now part of your energy. It's another foundational state. Breathe it into every pore, every cell, every muscle, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. Download the joy frequency, install it in your operating system, and there it is to go with gratitude, peace, appreciation, freedom, and love. Joy is yours right now, always. So let's ask John, can you share your value, please, and any color that comes to you associated with it?
Humility and yellow.
Humility, okay, so that's about humbleness, humility. He who humbles himself will be made great, said Yeshua. So it means he who humbles the little self. So breathe in the little self, breathe in humility. It's the humility to say there is a bigger power. There is a power that is beyond me. The little me is not the big cheese. Pure formless awareness of perfect love supersedes that, and so I am humble in the face of that awesome power. I realize my little self is nothing, but my true self, capital self, is all. Paraphrasing the Course, humility, which is the access to your higher self in. So every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is infused with this humility and the yellow light that goes with it. Imagine that. The whole body is immersed in it. You're in the field of humility. And you don't feel diminished. You feel expanded. You feel freer. You feel lighter. You feel more joyful. When you're truly humble, you recognize that your little self didn't have a clue how to direct you, guide your life. So just blow that little self out, the arrogance of knowing, thinking that you know what it is that you're doing in the little self. Just exhale it out, blow it all out, the breeze of your breath. The nothingness that it really is. And then experience the humility. Humility comes when you let go of everything else. You let go of the little self, one of your personal desires, expectations, wants, fears, your story, your victim identity, and so on, all of that. So what brings about humility is letting go, forgiveness. So it's really what you are breathing in, the essence of forgiveness or letting go humbles you, so that you can be made great in the true self that you are. So breathe in this humility again. So every pore, every cell, every muscle, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being, fused with this humble light. Experience it. Know it to be yours. You are this. It is you. You are not the little self. You are the true self, which is grandeur versus grandiosity. Grandiosity is the little self that's masquerading as the big cheese, as yourself, capital self. Grandeur is direct connection with the true self, capital self, and the awareness that lies beyond it, the pure formless awareness of perfect love. So one more time, breathe all that in as you inhale. That's what you're breathing in with humility. Every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. It's in this humble light. And And you exhale and just blow it out. Let it go. And the sense of being empty of the proud self, the arrogant self, and full of the spirit. So pure formless awareness arises more and more as you humble himself. Hence, a quote from Yeshua, he who humbles himself will be made great. So it is. So that establishes us in gratitude, appreciation, love, peace, joy, freedom, and humility. Let's see what's next to add into this meditation. Let's ask Elaine if you can share your quality. What's coming up for you?
Courage. And,
Courage.
and the colour is sapphire blue.
Okay, nice one. So breathe that in. Breathe in the essence of courage. And courage is 200 on the scale of consciousness, map of consciousness, which David Hawkins formulated. So that's the breakthrough level. Courage is the willingness to face the ego and overcome. You feel daunted by anything in your life, this course, this transformation process requires courage to say, I'm up for this. I'm all in. I'm on the hero's journey. There's no turning back. Taking the red pill, not the blue pill. And we're going to breathe in the color sapphire blue. So just breathe it into every pore, every cell, your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. It's a deep, rich blue. And you feel that courage rising in your heart, courage to take on the ego, to face your darkness in whatever form that it shows up in your life, often as projections, people, circumstances showing you the unloving nature of the ego, the limitations, the lacks, the scarcities. So we will experience these things in our lives. But you have the courage to face them as you truly are, as the one. If you recall, it's a great scene on the platform where in the Matrix where Neo is being beaten up and he gets up having just been thrown down the other end, and he beckons the ego to come. He says, come, I'm not scared of you anymore. Let's do this. So connect with that. The one, the energy of the one, the Christ, who's not scared. Who will face the ego and do it graciously and with courage, knowing that it will overcome. Ultimately, the ego cannot win because it is false. The courage of your true self will ultimately win out because it is based on the truth. So you breathe in. Courage to every pore, every cell. body, every fiber of your being in this courageous light. When you breathe in the sapphire blue, brings you even more courage. And any darkness, any fear. Fear is the opposite of courage. Anxieties, fears, thinking you can't cope, you're not going to manage. How's it all going to work out? This is the ego. This is opposite of courage. Courage is to say, I don't know yet exactly how it's all going to work out, but I have the courage to continue on my journey. The only way out of any of my difficulties is through. So exhale on the truth of that. Blow out the fear. It's like a dark smoke, black smoke leaving you. It's going, gone. And nothingness that it really is. Just letting it all go. Surrendering it all. Releasing it. So nothingness that it really is. And you rest in this courageous state to go with gratitude and appreciation and love and joy, peace, freedom, humility. All of that is the bedrock of courage. Stand on the spiritual truth of who you are, which is why you can have courage, why you are invulnerable in the face of the ego's illusions. So let's ask Susie, other Susie, Sue, Sims, if you can share your quality with us, please. Sue there. No. Okay.
I'm here.
Are there?
Clarity.
Clarity, okay. And any color? Okay.
Like a diamond white.
Diamond white. Okay, with like a touch of blue or something. Like
Yeah. Sparkle. Clear.
that. Okay. Clear, translucent white. Okay, so breathe that in. Clarity. Does it mean to be clear mentally, emotionally, physically? Clear. You've got a blocked nose, so it's about the clarity to be able to see clearly. Ego specializes in confusion, in darkening our awareness, limiting our awareness, so we don't have clarity. All kinds of distracting thoughts and emotions come in. Clarity comes in the emptiness, in the stillness of pure formless awareness, perfect love. Just breathe in clarity to every pore, every cell, every muscle, your body, every part of your mind. Fiber of your being. And the clarity of the light, this diamond light. Feel that clarity in your mind and your heart. This white translucent light coming in and shining through the darkness. And the clarity of your beingness. Who you really are. And exhale out that anything that's not that, blow it out. The breeze of your breath, darkness, any form as it's like a dark cloud leaving you. The dark clouds just cover the pristine clarity of the sky and this eternal sun that shines through that pristine sky of your mind. So just blow them away. Dark thoughts, emotions, cloud patterns on the lower level, just letting them go to the nothingness they really are. Stomach into the spine, explosion up. And you rest here. In the stillness and the clarity. Comes from forgiveness, comes from letting go. Breathe that clarity in. Pristine, pure white light. Visualize it, fusing every pore, every cell of your body, this clarity in your body. Breathe it into your mind. Draw the energy up the spine. And just hold the breath briefly and just rest in the clarity, pure formless awareness. There's nothing you need to do there, just bask in that eternal light, clarity of it for a while. Know that from that clarity will come the guidance, whatever it is that you need to do. Will unfold from this clarity. Exhale the truth of that. And so it is. So we've got clarity to add to our collection of values, or angels they're sometimes called. So gratitude and appreciation and love and peace, joy, humility, freedom, clarity, all there. It's all now in. It's like you've downloaded it. Frequency is in there. In your mind, in your heart. Part of your new operating system that works in these frequencies and these states, and then extends out from the state. So, Christine, you can share any value or quality that comes to you.
Simplicity.
Simplicity. Oh, nice one. And any color to go with that?
A pearlescent white.
Fluorescent white.
Pearlescent.
Okay. Pearlescent white. Okay. So just go into that. Breathe in. Nice to end off on simplicity because the truth is simple. Breathe in on the simple truth. That we are one. We are one awareness. One light. Breathe in that light. So white light. How that looks to you, how it feels. It's not that important. Just feel it. Experience it fully. Right? So embracing the truth here. Simplicity, the clarity of the simple truth. And we are one awareness. There's no split mind, there's no separation. There aren't really separate selves, separate personalities, separate bodies. All of that is illusion. Instead, breathe in the truth. The simplicity of the truth is we are one mind, one awareness right now. And just bathe in this light. Light in your true awareness. For a few moments, connecting with it deeply, fusing it into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. In the light of this awareness, and then exhale. Just extend. Extend it outwards. To everyone in the group. It's one light we share. We appreciate the value of appreciation. We appreciate and grateful for everyone. So we began at gratitude and we end at gratitude, appreciation. For everyone here, everyone on this journey, everyone in the Heart of Letting Go community. And then extend that out to everyone in your life, friends, family, colleagues, and so on. And everyone you don't know, it's the entire human race. Everyone, every mind, every person, every living being is in this simplicity of the truth. So just rest there in the simplicity. There's really nothing else to do. There's nowhere else to go. There's nothing else to think about. Truth is so simple. Just be in it. Just marinate in the truth of your being. And you're all of these things. You are the gratitude and the appreciation and the love and the joy and the peace and simplicity and clarity, humility, freedom. It's all in there. It's all there. All in this one single awareness called God, pure formless awareness of perfect love. And so you just rest in that. There's nothing more required. It's the ground of beings, everything you need, all the values, qualities, angels come out of that awareness. That's why they call the angels serve God. They come out of that awareness. That awareness lies at the core of all of it. So just rest in the simplicity of this truth, the awareness of your being. I have nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax, be still. Merge into this awareness. Sink into this deep awareness for a couple of minutes in deep silence. Just abide in stillness. Simplicity of the truth. Let it just be as it is. You experience it directly now. For the next couple of minutes of deep silence. And so just gently coming back, deeper awareness. Feels beautiful and light, peaceful, calm, joyful, clear, humble, free, grateful, appreciative, all of that. It's all there. So you carry that with you always. All those qualities are implicit in the simplicity of the truth. So know that. They're always there. You can bring them in, you can express them, feel them, express them whenever you need to. Now it's time to come back. Bring yourself back gently into an awareness of the body and the breath, senses, invite that into the world. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in. Noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Just scanning your mind again. So notice anything that's going on there. Is there any thoughts and feelings, any energies that are not welcome? Just going to once more, final time, blow them away. And breathe in the light, this beautiful white light, combination of all the different colors, white. This is where we ended up in meditation. Pure white light. And bring that into every pore, every cell of your body filled with this white light. Every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in the light of the truth. We are one. And you exhale anything else, letting go of any darkness, blowing it out, the breeze of your breath to the nothingness that it really is. It's going, gone. All the stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And just rest here briefly. Count of 2, notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair and your feet touching the ground. Notice what you're feeling with your hands touching. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth. Notice that. Notice what you're smelling, hearing. Noticing all these things from this very still, calm, and surrendered state. And rest here. Noticing what you're feeling and touching, tasting, smelling. As you breathe in, smell in your nose, notice what you're hearing in the surrounding environment. Just noticing all these things from this very, very still, calm, and surrendered state. Mind. Just one, carry this oneness, the one awareness, all these qualities of gratitude and peace and love and joy and appreciation and freedom, humility, simplicity, clarity. It's all there for you. Carry it with you for the rest of the session, the rest of the evening, on into your week. So it is said, so it is done. And then on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. Just look around for a minute. So just observing any object in the room. Let your attention rest on that for a few seconds. Notice the clarity that's there, the peace, joy, simplicity, freedom. It's all there, underlying whatever it is that you see. So actually the base state, your base perception is these things. God goes with you wherever you go. You see God in everything because God is in your mind. It's a course lesson we'll do in the course of the 6 weeks. So let's look around to various other things and notice that it doesn't matter what you look at. It's the same state. It's actually the same awareness. It's underlying everything. And this is your own true awareness. There is really nothing else. Everything else is illusion. So I hope this meditation and the breathing has connected you quite deeply with this awareness, and the aspects of it came from different people, seemingly different in form, but not really. It's all just aspects, like the diamond. It's a useful diamond white light idea, that the facets of a diamond which come in and then show you the different facets of oneness as we experience them in this world. Ultimately, they all have different facets of oneness. Oneness is oneness is oneness, but our experience of it in this world can vary. Hence, we have the values and the qualities and the characteristics. We call these values or qualities or life purposes or angels, or guides, whatever you would call it. These are the things that guide us in our seemingly human life. Let's connect us to our source. Help us tap into the guidance of the Holy Spirit. So that's the end of the meditation. So anyone want any to share anything about that? Any thoughts coming up? Any experiences? You want to share quickly?
For me, I was in a lovely state and then suddenly kind of sat up really quickly and like choking, like something was coming up in my throat. And it passed. And then as it went on, I got hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. But yeah. I noticed that even though it was beautiful, there was part of me that was really enjoying it, was really peaceful. But there was also a mind going on saying things like, oh, it's too hot in here, my leg's aching, I could just hear the little voice. And normally I'm totally in it. But, well, just noticing.
Yeah, well, it's good that you just notice there's that other voice. It's the ego. It's trying to pull you into the physical and distract you. You just notice it. Stay in the awareness that's noticing. Then you're not it. You're not getting distracted. So sometimes there's that tug of war in a meditation. It's like, oh, okay, so part of your awareness wants to pull you into the physical, and then the other part's just looking at that, going, "No, really, I'm actually quite happy here. This is nice. Stay here." And you see this, you experience the split in your mind, don't you?
Mm.
So.
And Jackie was quite restless. She couldn't settle. So I think maybe that was also, making be a bit more alert.
Yeah, it was quite long. That was an hour and 15 minutes. So, doesn't sort of seem like it, but you go on a journey and it's just like, just unfolding, taking you with it. Anyone else like to share anything? Any experiences come up for you?
I'll share. It was the same for me as for Sally. I was kind of feeling that pull. I was being taken off, not about sensations, but actually going on into like fiction. It was quite bizarre. Not experienced anything like that. Almost like little stories that weren't even relevant to me, that were just sort of popping up
Coming
in
up
my mind. Yeah.
Mm.
Quite strange, actually. Not experienced anything like that before.
Okay, that's a new experience. So story is always of the ego. These are powerful frequencies. You're tapping into source. Yeah, we just did that transformation game. The angels are really these qualities, these values, and it's the energy of it that then people call an angel of whatever. It's you're downloading it, bringing it in, and they're powerful transformational energies. Then often the resistance comes up in the form of the fidgetiness. In Sally's case was physical. In your case, you're spinning stories in your mind. It's sort of random, like where did that come from? Just a story to take you away from the immediate experience of whatever you download it. But just notice it. It's all good. Aware of it. Stay in that awareness, no matter what happens in meditation. Can always go back to that awareness. Well, if you go out of it, return back to the awareness. Okay, I'm still there, just checking it out, observing. The more you meditate, the more you strengthen that. So if you find you go off on a mind trip for a while, you come back, oh, okay, just mind, okay, but I came back to my awareness. So it's like a little journey, and you return to source. And you could do that a number of times in the meditation. Okay, anyone else? To share, maybe we'll take one more share, and then if everyone's up for it, there's a bit more stuff I want to cover. If you need to go, then you need to go. That's okay. Done a meditation, did a share, but there's still some profound stuff to come. So up to you. Anyone else sharing anything on the meditation? No? Okay. So no one else to share, then stop that recording. If we do, just want to have a look at the pathways. We're on the 5th pathway, which is, bring it up. There we go. On page 23, I think, of your course manual. Yeah, 23 or 24. 24. So I'll share my screen. Pretty short. It's about being here now. So just what we've just been discussing. Just a couple of paragraphs. We'll read that. We'll discuss it. And then for those who have the stamina, there's a course, a text reading on Distortions of Miracle Impulses, which is only 5 paragraphs, not that long, but probably take us an hour to get through that. So can I ask John, will you read the 5th pathway?
Yeah, I take full responsibility here and now for everything I experience. For it is my own programming that creates my actions and also influences the reactions of people around me. Whenever you feel unhappy, your emotions are telling you that people and things are not fulfilling the addictive patterns you have programmed into your biocomputer. But you usually do not talk to yourself in this realistic way. Instead, you blame your unhappiness on somebody or something outside of you. And you take full responsibility here and now for all of your feelings and for everything that happens to you. You never again blame the people and situations in the world outside of you for any unhappy feelings that you have. You realize that is an evasion to blame. You realize that is an evasion to blame others. You've been doing it to yourself. You can stop being a mechanical robot-like person who views himself as pushed around by the world, i.e. a victim, when you realize that only you can oppress or hurt yourself. You begin to see the connection between your emotional programming and your suffering. You start doing something about it, which means reprogramming your mind. Your mind creates your universe.
Pause there. Yeah, let's just unpack that a bit. There's enough to discuss there. Any thoughts on that first paragraph?
Well, it's very much about projection and the advantage of taking on board that we create everything in our universe. And once we take responsibility for that, then we can actually stop the projections and start to change the situation. Although he hasn't said that yet.
Well, he's talking about blame, isn't he? Remember, blame. The blame game is what the ego likes to play, because blame is guilt projected outwards. You blame someone or something else, you're projecting your guilt, and what we're trying to do is offload our guilt because of our apparent sin of separating from God. We're offloading that onto other people by projecting the guilt. So blame is projection of guilt, keeps the guilt going. It doesn't release it. It keeps the guilt going. Makes you seemingly more guilty in your mind, which is what's really oppressing you. It's the ego that's oppressing you, and then it just shows up in the external world as things and people and circumstances seemingly pushing you around, and you can oppress or hurt yourself. So it's really freedom. You go, well, no one's really doing it to me. I'm doing it to myself, and it's my own false belief that's doing it to me. Okay, well, can I let go of that belief? That's what forgiveness does. Letting go, let's go of the belief. And you know what he's saying here, which means start doing something about it, which means reprogramming your mind. In other words, letting go of the old programming and inviting a new one to come in. This is letting go of the ego, inviting the Holy Spirit and the Christ mind as an operating system to come into your mind and life. Remember, these are Holy Trinity. These are operating. It's an operating system. God the Father, Source, perfect pure form, of perfect love, extends into the Christ, the one self, which then extends into the domain of illusion with true perceptions or Christ vision. So Christ and the Holy Spirit, which is the arrows, that they become your operating system in this world. That's the reprogramming of your mind, a new operating system. So he uses the computer analogy, which is quite useful. This was written in the 60s and 70s when computers were just sort of coming into popular use in consciousness. So he used the computer analogy, the biocomputer, and so on. And like our minds are like, programmable robots. We have faulty programming, and then of course the result's going to be faulty because the program is faulty. There's a bug in the program, so to speak. Okay. So saying, taking a full responsibility is not blaming. I accept that I've created this, even though it's unconsciously, not consciously, but unconsciously, I must have created this because of these, subconscious beliefs. Yeah, it's got to go. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for joining. Anyone does have to go, you're welcome to. We'll get through this, and then we'll do the text reading for tonight. So any thoughts, comments, questions on the first one? No? It's really standard. This is what Yesh is telling us the whole way through the course. Just let go of your guilt and your sin. Guilt and sin perpetuate the dream, the illusion of separation. So we look at the where are we? So here, descent into hell. Guilt and the sin, you see, underpin the illusion of individuality. So you keep projecting guilt in the form of blame. That's the accusation, blame, and attack. Then you keep the guilt and the sin in place, which keeps your individual identity going, which keeps the whole dream going. So not a very smart thing to do when you realize what it is the ego's up to. So this is just naming that same game and saying, no, this isn't gonna serve you. The taking of total responsibility is a recognition that we project this. On subconscious level, we project on the one level, then we perceive on another, which is what he goes on to say in paragraph 2. So let's go into that. Tell someone else to read. Anyone else like to read paragraph 2? Make it a bit bigger. That helps. So your mind creates your universe.
I'll do it. Just move that out of the way. Your mind creates your universe. Your perceptions are the picture you create from the energies you receive from the people and things around you through your various senses. Your perceptions are thus the result of your interpretations of the things and people you observe and interact with. And these interpretations are a result of your beliefs. You receive feedback from the people and things around you that confirms the beliefs you have, which continually influence how you interpret incoming sensory data. Your predictions and expectations based on your beliefs are thus self-fulfilling. Since your state of mind creates your world or perceived reality, all you have to do to change your world is to change your state of mind. It's the only way to live in a peaceful, happy world.
So, he's really saying exactly what Yeshua was saying in A Course in Miracles, isn't he? So he's saying projection makes perception. So we, from our beliefs, let me just show you the diagram. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Levels of mind diagram. Show you perception, emotion, thought, belief, desire, or prayer of the heart. So what he's talking about here is that the core beliefs and the thoughts and emotions that go with them project out, and they seem to stimulate the external sensory data that comes at us, right? So that comes at us in the form of our sense perceptions, so get interpreted through the filter of our beliefs, thoughts, and emotions to create a reality. So it's not the incoming sensory data that is the problem. It's actually our beliefs, our thoughts, and our emotions that interpret all of that in a certain way. And that's the combination of our belief and then the data coming in, which, remember, is still a projection of the mind. It's just happening on an unconscious level, creates the illusion of perception. And now we perceive rather than know the truth. and all of it's, underpinned by belief. And so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe something, then that belief gets projected out and it comes back, and it's shown to you as the truth. And we do that so unconsciously, we're not even aware of it. So this process is to make it conscious, become aware of it, and recognize that what the game is, what's going on. And then the game is no longer has the same power over you. You realize it's all projection, perception. It's untrue, it's false, and you can let it all go and find, the miracle happens. Desire or prayer, the heart is to find peace no matter what. Find peace no matter what. And there's the underlying shift in belief, thought, emotion, and your perception must change. Change perception. You're no longer reinforcing the ego through your perceptions. You cut that, you break that, and that frees you to be liberated from this cycle. Okay, so any ideas, comments, thoughts, questions on that? Back to fifth pathway. These are about being here now. So the pathways are about how do you stay rooted in the now. The key thing is taking full responsibility. Everything I experience, it's my own program, it creates my actions, also influences the reactions of people around me. So therefore I'm responsible, and the only thing I can do is to change my mind about the world. It's the only thing I can do to live in a peaceful, happy world. The moment we change
says
mind,
all you have to do is change your state of mind.
yeah.
Taking me a long time to change mine.
Yeah, well, all you have to do. I mean, it's a profound change. That's the work. Totally got to reverse your state of mind. You think you're a person experiencing a world that's out there, that's doing it to you, in a victim state, and then you've got to change your mind to say, no, actually, I'm not. I'm actually creating my reality. I'm making it up as I go along, and none of this is true. And that's a profound change of mind, isn't it? But that's what he's asking us to do. Change your world to change your state of mind. Yeah, okay. All you have to do, okay, but that's the work. All you have to do, that's a lifelong spiritual journey to do that, to change your mind properly. But very reminiscent of the Course, seek not to change the world, but seek to change your mind about the world. Okay, Christine, you got to go. It's fine. I know it's about 10:30 there, so well done for staying so long. So, very, very along the lines of what the Course is saying. Exactly the same teaching, really, that we create our reality through our false beliefs. And that's what makes up our perceptions. That's what creates our world. You want to change your world, then change your beliefs. And the moment you do that, your perception changes, and your world changes, because your world is just your perceptual reality. Kind of obvious when you break it, when you say it like that, but not so obvious to many people. I think the world is somehow out there independent of us. No, the world is arising in your perceptual reality moment by moment. That's your world. So change your beliefs and your thoughts and your emotions, and then you change your perceptions, and the perceptual reality changes. And you've changed the world. And that can happen in a moment when you decide, you choose to change your mind. Okay, so any Any thoughts on being here now? It's part of the fourth, fifth. So the preceding one was, I always remember, just to put it in context, always remember that I have everything I need to enjoy my here and now, unless I'm letting my consciousness be dominated by demands and expectations based on the dead past or the imagined future. So there, the consciousness would be of the ego then. Consciousness, what kept consciousness there. It's awareness, that's truth. Your consciousness to be dominated by demands and expectations based on the dead past or imagined future. And then the second one is, I take full responsibility here and now for everything I experience. Recognizing I may not have consciously done it. People struggle because they go, well, I didn't consciously do it. No, you didn't. No one consciously hurts themselves. Well, sometimes they do consciously, self-harm and so on. But often it's just unconscious. We don't know we're doing it, but we're doing it because the program is running us. So let's become aware of that program and be willing to let it go. Okay, makes sense. Course of Miracles 101, really. Letting go of ego means you must let go of blame. Can't blame anyone else or yourself for anything. You take full responsibility. You realize it's your projection and your perception is creating reality, and then you can change it because you can always change your beliefs. You can choose to let go of whatever the beliefs are that are creating that illusory reality. And the world just becomes useful because it shows you the picture you create. It shows you the picture that is the representation of your subconscious mind, your belief system. So now you can see it clearly in the four-dimensional screen of time and space for each thing to be in, and then you can learn from it. And that can help you to undo it. Otherwise, how do you see it? It's the question. If you didn't come here, you didn't picture mirrored to you in the world, how would you know it's even there? How would you get to be aware of your subconscious beliefs? Because they're unconscious. You don't know about them. So they make you aware of them so that you can let them go. And that's the reason why we come into the world to do, have a human life, so that we can learn the lessons and undo the false beliefs. And that's why Yeshua says your only function here is forgiveness. And your function is to let go of those false beliefs systematically and progressively using this mind training process that he's given us. She calls forgiveness, or we call the art of letting go. Okay. Any comments, questions, thoughts on the fifth pathway?
Sorry, which forgiveness process you're talking about here?
It's not a process per se. It's the just the radical forgiveness that he's
The
teaching.
action of doing it. Okay.
Yeah, the actual, I'm willing to let this go
Yeah.
and be at peace instead, and a complete letting go. Like I'm not holding on to anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's radical means it goes to the very root. You say none of it's true, none of it's real, therefore I'm letting it all go, and I'm not holding on to anything. That's what he's advising us to do. He's saying that's the only thing that's ultimately going to work. So that's the way to change your beliefs. You change your world by changing your state of mind. Well, how do you change your state of mind? Well, you let go of the false beliefs that are perpetuating your existing state of mind. That's not helpful. It's the only way you're going to do it. You must let go in order to change.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the only way to live in a peaceful, happy world, because your inner state is peaceful and happy. So then you'll be in a peaceful, happy world or reality because your inner state is perceiving it as such, irrespective of what's happening. Stuff shit happens continuously in the world, but do you see it as such? Does that disturb your peace, or can you just transcend it and be happy anyway? And then, then you live in a peaceful, happy world, irrespective of what's going on the level of form. That's what this mind training is about, helping us to do.
Yeah, makes sense.
So,
Thank you.
remarkably similar. This guy was tapping into, he's downloading. I think his sources were Buddhism, looks like a lot of Buddhist and maybe Advaita as the Eastern teachings, but definitely downloading and bringing in truth, which is the same truth as is in the Course. It's a very similar language as well. Seek not to change the world, but seek to change your mind about the world. And this was, as far as I'm aware, this is prior. He wrote this prior to the Course coming out. I think he wrote it in the sort of 60s or early 70s before it was published and became known. So,
Please remind me, what's the name again of the person?
the name of the guy is called Ken Keyes.
Oh, yeah.
Keyes. He was a spiritual teacher who wrote a book, sold 1 million copies or something. He was quite successful in his time. Called it the Living Love Method of Personal Growth. Wrote the book, and then he died, and no one really took it on.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned. Yeah, that's amazing, because this is really cool. Good stuff. This is very good. Good
stuff. I was
information.
like, wow, this is really
Yeah.
good.
Good
No one's
information.
claiming it. Okay, well, I'll use it, and
Yeah.
it's just reinforcement from another angle of the same teachings in the Course.
Yeah, it's
So-
very good. Very good stuff.
So if it works for you, you could do one pathway a day and cycle through that every 12 days, and this is up to you. I'm not going to include it in the program because there's already enough, to do with the Course in Miracles, and that's the foundational practice. But you could easily go, okay, I'd like to bring that into my spiritual practice, and I'll meditate on one of these every day. I'll just bring it in, I'll read it, and I'll try and live that pathway for that day. Just focus in on one thing, because it's difficult to live all 12. But if you come conscious of each one and you live it as best you can for a day, then it's like, okay, you downloading it, you again installing it into the operating system. So ideally these become automatic. You just do this. Your mastery is like, I do all 12 pathways simultaneously. I do it unconsciously. It's automatic. This is the way I live. Then you've got a new operating system governing your mind. So
Yeah.
it's useful stuff.
Yeah. Thank you.
All
for
right.
sharing.
Any other comments, questions on that? Otherwise, moving swiftly on, there's still some text to do, which is on Distortions of Miracle Impulses. It's section 7, chapter 1. I believe it's the last section of chapter 1. Is there another one? I'm not sure. I think it is the last. Done a little bit of translation as well to speed things up. It's just 5 paragraphs, so not too long. Yeah, anyone like to read? Kick it off with the original, and then read the translated version down below in the grey. So we just go through it line by line. Seems to be the most efficient way of doing it.
I'm happy to read.
Okay.
Your distorted perceptions produce a dense cover over miracle impulses, making it hard for them to reach your own awareness. Your distorted perceptions produce a dense cover over correction impulses, making it hard for them to reach your own awareness.
Okay. So thoughts on that?
Well, what it's saying here is that our projections, our perceptions, our misunderstandings produce or cover up the truth which is within us, and making interesting reference to miracle, to miracles.
Perceptions, or the dense cover, right? The top layer, which cover over They cover over the impulses. So the impulses come from our true self arising, but as long as we're obsessed with our distorted perceptions, they cover all this over. And then we've got emotions and thoughts and beliefs that cover over those miracle impulses arising from our true self. And so that's kind of we've got to let go of these coverings, the veils of illusion, another way of saying it, in order to allow this to become stronger, allow these miracle impulses to arise. Remember, miracles is just the correction. So it's corrective impulses. They're saying, yes, you can heal. You can let go of the cover, basically, and find this inner awareness, experience that. And hard for them to reach your own awareness.
The confusion of miracle impulses with physical impulses is a major perceptual distortion. So the confusion of correction impulses with physical impulses is a major perceptual distortion.
Correction, or maybe impulses to correct. Correction impulses, what do you think? Should we just leave it?
I'm happy with it like that.
Yeah. Major perceptual distortion. Okay. So this is really the subject of this particular section. We confuse the two. So we have physical impulses, which are usually towards some kind of pleasure on the physical level, or avoiding pain, and then we confuse that with the correction impulses. Actually, correction. Let's make that corrective impulses. That's better. Confusion of corrective impulses with physical impulses is a major perceptual distortion. Okay, so physical impulses are misdirected. Corrective impulses. Misdirected miracle impulses. It's like a misinterpretation that's going on. Something's got lost in translation, and as we go through this, it's like the distortions of the ego, the false beliefs, thoughts, and emotions take that awareness and they distort it, and then we seek for some kind of physical pleasure instead of seeking the light within us. That's kind of what he's saying here.
No, it's funny, Elaine. We were talking about this yesterday with Elaine, actually.
Oh, were you? Okay.
We were mentioning, remember, we were talking about
Sorry, yes, I've just heard what you said already. Yeah, we were talking about
having to go or do something like go for a walk, or
Oh yes.
and
yes.
that's going into the external world instead of seeking for the internal truth, within. So that's actually looking for external pleasures, basically, I think.
Or just getting a bit of fresh air.
Well, it depends on what you're using it for. If you're in the spirit and you're just walking, but if you're using it to avoid, say, doing a meditation or being in a session, then you've got to look at it and say, well, is that just a distraction?
No, she was talking about no, not like yesterday, because it was our day off. So we were talking about going for a walk.
Did you chat to each other then offline?
Yeah, we were doing a catch up, like a catch up buddy catch up.
The buddy, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Yeah, it's good to see the buddy system working.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's nice.
Oh, that's good. Oh, so physical impulses can be, anything on the physical level that you think is going to bring you pleasure. And then he refers to pleasure. So next one, John, all real pleasure.
All real pleasure comes from doing God's will. All real pleasure comes from following the guidance of perfect love.
Did you say from doing gospel?
God's will.
Oh, I thought you said from doing gospel.
No,
Gospel.
no. But that's pretty close, because the gospel was
Yeah.
it was God's spell. God's spell was the gospel.
Oh, God's scriptures, right? God's. Oh, I mean the
gospel. God's spell got shortened to gospel. So it was the spell of God. Spell
yeah.
being like it's some word. Spell is word. It's a word. It's a transmission.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, the gospel in the
God's
religious
spell.
religious text. I was thinking, but also the singing gospel. You sing this God's, the God's. I guess the God spell, right? The God's words. God's words.
Yeah, God's words. That's the gospel. God's spell.
Yeah.
As opposed to the ego spell, which is the opposite.
Oh, okay.
You spell, you dispel the illusion, don't you? Spells, you dispel it because it's false. So the ego is woven a false spell in the mind. It's the spell of separation, and hence the magic. The spell is the magic of the ego that's woven this whole illusory reality, self and reality. That's false, and we under its spell until we dispel it. And we listen to God's spell to dispel it, which is the gospel. So you see it. It's all, semantics, but if you look at where the origin of it makes sense.
Yeah.
So
it's still okay to go in the external world to seek pleasure, to seek a walk for fresh air, to go.
Well, it depends. If you're seeking that as some kind of substitute for your true self, then no, because ultimately fresh air isn't going to bring you what you really yearn for. Going for a walk. However, if you take your true self with you, and you're like, well, it's I'm connected in source, and this is nice. I'm going there. God goes with me wherever I go.
Yeah.
And my oneness is with me, and it feels good. I'm in nature. I'm breathing.
Yeah,
and
that's what I did today. Yeah.
No, I'm not seeking. The key is don't seek to influence your internal state from an external means. So you go, oh, I really need to go outside. Really need to go outside. I just need some fresh air, and then I'll feel better. That's an attachment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So that's seeking pleasure from something external to you. Well, if you said, okay, well, I'm going to go for a walk because it feels joyful to do that.
Yeah.
A walk. I'm not seeking anything from it. I'm going with my true self into the experience, and that enhances the experience. I go for a walk.
And I was repeating today's ACIM lesson all along, so I was good.
It's like a moving meditation.
I was in good company of the source.
Yeah, and then you're not seeking from the external world something that can't ultimately give you. See, that's the key. Because if you think fresh air is the answer to life's problems, you're mistaken. It's not. Only the truth can do that. So, but can you go for a walk in fresh air and take your true self with you and enjoy the experience? Yeah, absolutely. Of course you can. Just don't seek for some kind of satisfaction in the experience that's not there. See, it's avoiding the seeking, the desiring that this is going to give me some. I just need to get onto the fresh air, and then I'll feel okay.
So here's our answer, Elaine.
That's a good. No, thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, thank you.
It's subtle, but it's profound.
Yeah.
The difference is: are you seeking something from the external world?
Yeah.
Or are you're okay as you are, and then wherever you go, there you are. So you're going into the fresh air and you're breathing. That's okay, and your self goes with you, and you're feeling good. You can feel happy. You can feel joyful. That's the happy dream. But if you're seeking something from the external world, you're like, oh, this is amazing, fresh air, like because I've attached my mind to it. And then when I don't have the fresh air, I go back inside, then I feel
lack.
I feel like I'm lacking. Oh, I need that experience again. Oh, okay, I need to go spend more time outdoors to get that experience. See, so now you're relying on something external to bring you the inner experience. That's magic.
Yeah, it's very how do you say, it's very
Subtle.
Yes, that's the word. Thank you. Very subtle.
Yeah. So you've got to really be aware of what's
Mm.
going on in your mind. So be honest. Is that attachment,
Mm-hmm.
or is that a preference? Okay, yeah, I'd like to go walking. It's a preference.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I don't go walking, that's all right. I'm quite happy just being indoors. And,
Yeah.
I'm being tested on it because the last week I hardly left.
Yeah,
the
me
room.
too. That's why I was like,
But it's
oh,
like,
today
okay,
would be
well,
it.
that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's okay, because that's what's unfolding. I'm busy with this, and I can immerse myself in it. And I've had times when I was, going for a dog walk every day, and it was nice, and now it's not there, so it's okay. That's just just what I'm doing now. And so then you check it out, and you go, no attachment. I'm not going, oh my God, I'm not walking. I'm deprived. I'm not leaving. I'm not doing that. I'm just like, actually, I am where I am. I'm okay as I am doing what I am. And this is what I'm called to do now. So, I do it and I bring myself into it. And then yesterday was a day off. So I did go out and, spend some time with my family and had a run, and that was nice. But I'm not like, oh, I'm not running today, or I'm not going to fresh air. Somehow I feel deprived. You see, it's
I get it. Yeah.
Do you feel deprived? Do you feel somewhat less than when you don't have the experience? If so, then it's an attachment. If it's not really a big deal, then it's a preference, and it's not gonna affect you negatively. So
thank you. That's a good clarification.
It clarifies it. And he talks about this in these pathways, in the first 3 pathways, if you recall. He talks about freeing yourself, and that's all about addictions and preferences. So it's always useful to read those, because he talks about, what's the difference between an addiction and a preference. An addiction will make you feel unhappy. A preference won't. That's the difference.
Yeah, I remember.
So you got to be honest with yourself and go, okay, well, if it's an addiction, an attachment of any sort, I feel unhappiness when I don't have it, and I'm honest. Okay, that's an attachment. I need to let go of that and become indifferent to it. It's okay. If I have it or I don't have it, doesn't really matter.
So Helen, we have to check in now. Every time we go for a walk, we have to decide.
Oh,
Is it out of attachment or is it out of preference?
And did you do it inside out or outside in? That's the difference. Inside out says, I'm doing it from my true self. It goes with me wherever I go.
I did today. Yeah.
I'm inspired, right? I'm in the spirit, and the spirit goes with me, and that spirit or pure formless awareness is guiding everything. My thoughts, my emotions, my perceptions, all coming from that. Yeah, no problem.
Also duty.
No attachment. You're just observing the external world. You're just there. You're hanging out. You could do the same if you were going in a shopping mall. It's possible, because it's the same awareness. Actually, it hasn't changed. For a lot of people, when they're starting, it's easier to do it in nature, because it's naturally connect you more with your true awareness. But it's not actually necessary, because you can do it anyway. You can be in that awareness anyway, because that awareness is in your mind. God goes with me wherever I go, because God is in my mind.
Yeah, so yesterday, actually, I thought about going for a walk since it was our day off, but actually decided not to go. I was like, okay, I'm not so attached to it, so I'm not going to go. And I also check in,
Yeah.
With my body, with the body.
It's a preference, not an attachment.
There's also, you need to pop out to take the dogs out. So that's duty.
Yeah. So if you have a dog, that's a loving, kind thing to do for the dog, because we know, all dogs really need to be walked. They can survive, but they have a mental, emotional need to be walked every day. It seems every dog has that. So you give the dog what it needs, and then you go out and you enjoy the experience as well with your dog. And,
I do.
Yeah, but no self-seeking it. No, like, oh, I really need to walk because I'm
now the dog is the excuse to go out.
I like to get out.
Yeah. But just don't desire it. That's the key. You know, all
Right.
real pleasure comes from following the guidance of perfect love,
Right.
rather than the ego. So the guidance of perfect love is like, well, love goes with you wherever you go.
Yeah, we were having a long discussion yesterday also about the body as well, you know, that we're not a body. So we were trying to understand that. And I said, well, our bodies are neutral to vehicle. Is that the way we look at it in the course?
Yeah. He says the body, you know, is neither good nor bad in itself. It was made by the ego, but what you use it for is up to you. You have a choice. You can use it for the ego's purposes, or you can now use it for the Holy Spirit's purposes.
Right.
So it depends on the mind that's using the body.
Right.
The body itself is neutral. So,
yeah, because we were trying to understand that one as well. So that's a good.
so, you know, which driver's driving? The vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. Who is guiding?
Is neutral. You know, you get into the same vehicle, and someone who's a really good driver could drive it very nicely, and it's a pleasant ride. Same vehicle could be driven by a crazy driver who's really dangerous and reckless, and you know, your experience driving with them would be totally different, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Same vehicle, just depending on how it's being used by the mind that's directing it. So that's a good analogy.
Right. Right.
So don't use the crazy, chaotic, self-destructive ego driving the vehicle is not a good idea, because it's got a death wish, and it's likely to give you a smash and hurt you if you allow it to. So. All right. So all real pleasure comes from following the guidance of perfect love. That's what he's saying. So when you follow that guidance, then you find real pleasure, which is the pleasure of doing God's will. In the original, it was God's will. All real pleasure comes from doing God's will. John, you want to carry on? This is because.
Yeah. And this is. We're on number 5.
Yeah.
This is because not doing it is a denial of self. This is because not doing it is a denial of self.
All right.
This is the corollary of the previous sentence, really.
Yeah. Okay.
So number 6, denial of self results in illusions, while correction of the error brings a release from it. Denial of self results in illusions, while correction of the error brings release from it. Yeah.
So not doing God's will is a denial of your own self. You're actually denying your own true self, which is not a clever thing to do, because God's will is translated through the self, capital self. We look at the Trinity, it's translated through this. From pure formless awareness of perfect love down, extended to the true self or the Christ. And that's how it gets translated then into perception and action. Thought, perception, thought, action follow. See. So when we deny the self, it's a huge block. We deny the self, we get caught up in a little self that blocks this awareness of oneself, which blocks the awareness of pure formless awareness of perfect love. And we get caught up in the little self, going around in the red box, trying to figure it all out ourselves and not succeeding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Do not deceive yourself into believing that you can relate in peace to God or to your brothers with anything external. Do not deceive yourself into believing that you can relate in peace to pure formless awareness of perfect love or to your companions with anything external.
Anything external. So
I'm thinking here of when you've got something in common with somebody else, a mutual interest, which draws you together.
With anything external. Oh, so, you know, some common interest or hobby or whatever it is. But can you really relate in peace to them through that means? What does experience tell you? No. Think of, I mean, the more, especially if it's, let's say, a hobby or something, if people get really into that, the amount of politics that goes on in these clubs and societies, you know, we're relating to each other supposedly because we've got a common interest, but then it's all the bickering and the squabbling. Oh, you know, my way is better than your way, and ego comes in because, you know, someone's got to be top dog in the club or the society, and we've all experienced that. So it's saying you can't relate in peace with anything external for that reason, because it's an illusion. It may seem to bind you together, but it won't actually. The only peaceful awareness that you have in common is your true awareness. You know, recognizing that I am the same as you. We share the same self. We share the same awareness at a fundamental level. It goes way beyond anything external.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
You want to summarize number 1 for us?
Okay.
Saying the summary.
So what he's saying here is that we can confuse ourselves a great deal by getting involved in worldly perceptions and lose track of who we are. And we will only find ourselves and the real self in others by connecting through our own true self.
Yeah, well said. Yeah. And that you know, it's the stuff about physical impulses, misdirected corrective impulses. So we think we need something. Oh, I'm really craving, you know, chocolate or cheese. We talked about that the other day already. Cheese and chocolate. Craving them. It's a misdirected miracle impulse when you go into that craving.
You had that quote in there in your email telegram message this morning, actually, about that experiment when they
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not the marshmallow of the 15.
Yeah, let's have a look at it. Actually, it's a good point. Just bring it up.
Interesting that they followed those people through life.
Yeah, they did. So you know, the story went. Let's bring that up into a page. They did some research on kids who had a choice. So they were offered a choice between getting one marshmallow or pretzel stick immediately, or 2 of the same if they waited for 15 minutes while the researcher was not in the room. And so for a 4-year-old, that's quite a challenge, because you've got to delay the urge to just, you know, gobble that, delay gratification, basically. The children were able to wait longer for the preferred rewards, tended to have significantly better outcomes.
And the ones that couldn't wait ended up with a higher body mass index.
Yeah, because I mean, it's symptomatic, isn't it? Oh, I can't wait, I can't delay, so therefore I just feed my face, or, you know, so because it's a mental thing. It's a mental addiction, food and other things. And so just that one test was a predictor of significantly better life outcomes, which is interesting. Children who managed to wait, what they did. So the research found that children could not effectively delay their gratification merely by thinking about something other than what they wanted. Rather, their success depended on their ability to use suppressive and avoidance mechanisms that reduced their frustration. So they did something else. They distracted themselves. Quiet songs, hid their head in their arms, pounded the floor, fiddled playfully, verbalized the contingency, prayed to the ceiling. The most dramatically effective self-distraction technique. The little girl just completely relaxed after some agitation, rested her head, and went to sleep. They're like, well, that was effective. So actually the most effective technique of all to delay the gratification was very similar to meditation. She just put herself into an altered state, went to sleep, and the temptation was not there anymore, which was the remedy for the problem of craving that the Buddha taught. Combination of watching the breath, systematically observing the sensations of the entire body in this meditation technique called Vipassana, which has been confirmed by modern psychology to work. Vipassana is the foundation of mindfulness. The whole mindfulness movement is based on just watching the breath and watching the body sensations. Well, that's the essence of Vipassana. So it's just Vipassana in fact means mindfulness in Sanskrit or Pali. So they just took the word and said, okay, we'll call it mindfulness instead of Vipassana. Same thing. Just goes to show you, despite all of our technological progress, the fundamental problems of human life and their remedies have remained the same for all these years, 2,000 years and more since the Buddha lived. So the truth is eternal, unchanging. And then, I quoted from today's reading. Do not deceive yourself into believing that you can relate in peace to God or to your brothers with anything external. It's just the paragraph we've read. So catches us up with that. Let's ask Aurelie. Aurelie, if you can read number 2, please. Short paragraph. Child of God.
I was busy writing and trying to find it in the text. Just the one quote that's the number 5 from the paragraph above, just the one above, because I thought,
the one I quoted in my email.
It's actually 6. I find it very powerful. The 6, number 6.
Number 6.
Denies results in illusions, while correction of the error brings release from it. Okay, I was missing the end, release from it.
Yeah.
I find this powerful, so I just wrote that one.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole illusion, isn't it? We denied our true self, our true awareness. Yeah. Saying you can't really do that, but you think you have, and that's the error that needs to be corrected.
Yep. Do not deceive yourself into believing that you can relate in peace. Companions with anything external. Yeah, so that's exactly what we were talking about yesterday, the external. Okay, thank you. Thanks.
All right. Number 2, child of God. And then
so child of God, you were created to create the good, the beautiful, and the holy. Extension of perfect love, you were extended. That's a lot of extension. You were extended to extend the good, the beautiful, and the pure. Pure.
That's different spin on it, isn't
holy.
It?
You translate holy with pure. That's interesting.
Yeah. Or innocent you could use, but for pure was good, the beautiful, and the pure.
Holy.
So instead of the pressure to create, creation really just means that you're extending the pure formless awareness, perfect love. You're extending that out. So you were extended.
To extend, yeah.
We can actually even change that. It's not just you were extended. You are extended. You are, because you're still extended. It doesn't stop, does it?
It's actually good.
Ongoing.
We actually wrote that in our circle, and what I was telling you, our circle of love. We actually used that to extending as well.
So we're extended from the source.
Yeah, that's good.
To extend. It comes through us and extends through us into the world, to extend the good, the beautiful, and the pure.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to create it in the sense, the word create in our minds, the ego sort of thinks, well, I'm bringing something new into being, doesn't it? That's the interpretation of create. That's not actually what he means by the word. Creation refers to what's eternal. So whereas extended sort of indicates, okay, you're just extending what's already there. It's nothing bringing anything new into being.
Yeah.
It's just extending the truth of what you are.
Yeah,
So
makes
that you
sense.
can extend the good, the beautiful, and the pure. And then
That's
it's
good.
God's will, you know, this awareness extending through you to do its will in the world.
Yeah.
And you become the vehicle, the channel for that.
Mhm.
So now it's driving, you know, this awareness, the Holy Spirit's driving rather than the self, little self, the ego. Okay.
Continue. Do not forget this.
Mm-hmm.
For a little while, pure formless awareness of perfect love. Oh, I'm actually reading the translation. The love, so do not forget this, the love of God for a little while must still be expressed through one body or to another, because vision is still so dim. So for a little while, pure formless awareness of perfect love must still be expressed through one body to another, because vision is still so dim. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it expresses one body to another while we're here, because he's saying you're still dim, you know, we don't see. The spiritual sight is still dim.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really see.
Yeah, we need our mirrors.
When he talks about vision, he's talking about Christ's vision, spiritual vision.
Ah, okay. I thought it was they were talking about the mirrors, or that we are to each other, or like the vision.
Yeah, the Christ's vision.
Oh yeah,
is,
of course.
is
Yeah,
referring
this
to
is,
the
this is
you know, the perception, because vision is still so dim. So vision is like enlightened perception. Vision is true perception. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So in this diagram, you see true perception is Christ's vision. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So our vision is still so dim. We could translate that as because perception is still so dim. But I'll keep to vision, I think, because vision is this aspect of, you know, in Christ's vision, that it's a higher vision, spiritual vision. He uses that through the course.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't perceive correctly, in other words.
Yeah, we still got
All
work
right.
to do. Yeah.
You can use your body.
You can use your body best to help you enlarge your perception, so you can achieve real vision, of which the physical eye is incapable. Yeah, it's only through spirit, right? So you can use your body best to help you enlarge your perception, so you can experience real vision, of which physical eyes are incapable. So it's the same thing.
Yeah, I just changed eye to eye. Physical eyes are incapable, because most people have more than one eye. So
Physical,
eye as opposed to eyes. Yeah, so that help you enlarge you.
Oh yeah, why did they put with an OS on the first
Well, the
one?
eye, it's just talking about the eye, you know, the eye can't, I mean, and eyes, it's correct, you can't see, but he's using the singular rather than the plural. It's not a massive point, but I just thought it might be a little bit better.
Useful.
The physical eyes are incapable. So you see with your eyes, not your eye, unless you're blind in one eye. It's the physical eyes are incapable. So it kind of makes it more like, oh yeah, okay, these are my physical eyes that are seeing, and I can't really see.
Yeah, because my vision is dim. Yeah.
Yeah, you can experience of
But
which
the
physical eyes
vision-
are capable. Real vision. So, you know, he's telling us straight up, the physical eyes cannot have real vision. Real vision comes from your mind.
Yeah.
So
or spirit.
Ultimately, you gotta let go of what the physical eyes are looking at to have real vision. And the reinterpretation of what the physical eyes see from the perspective of oneness is the real vision. So you're not seeing just the physical, you're seeing beyond that. You're seeing
the spiritual vision
from the one awareness. Yeah, from your true awareness, you're seeing true awareness everywhere. You're seeing that same awareness everywhere, even when it seems not to be there. You see it anyway. which then corrects your distorted perception, and you then believe correctly that only that's true, only oneness is true. Okay.
The body's only true usefulness is learning to do this. Yeah.
What is only true usefulness? Learning to do this.
Oh, did you change it? Sorry.
I just changed the order. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
the same.
learning to do this is the body's only true usefulness, and the body's only true usefulness is learning to do this. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just inverted.
Yeah.
So this is what he's saying. The vehicle's only useful when you learn to do this.
To get vision.
You learn to translate your physical, the sight of your physical eyes. Real vision is interpretive, so you interpret it differently. Your true self interprets it from the perspective of oneness. So now Christ's vision, true self, interprets all of this stuff, but interprets it from the perspective of, well, there's only one self. There's really only one of us here. So none of the form of it is true. I perceive the oneness, the one awareness that underlies it all. I perceive that in everyone and everything.
Oh, that's so synchronistic. Actually, today I picked a card like those oracle card, and it was seeing. So it's to vision, seeing, and you just say perspective, and as I'm reading perspective on the card, it says perspective, knowledge, truth, knowledge, clarity. So it was so synchronistic, so aligned.
So that's what he's training us to do. This course is a course in training us to perceive correctly from the Christ self, the one self, perceive the world correctly, which is the real world. That perception, correct perception, translation of the one into the other is called the miracle or the correction, and the Holy Spirit is the ability to do that, to see. So it's just an operating system. He's giving us the components of an operating system, given them terms, so we can understand how this actually works in our minds, get to grips with it and apply it in our lives, and make these corrections all the time, systematically, progressively. Let go of what seems to exist and happen in the physical universe of time and space.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's turn back. Body's only true usefulness is learning to do this.
Yeah, we just did that one.
Yeah. So can you summarize the what's the things paragraph?
So it's basically talking about using the body to get vision instead, or to get to the truth, to get to the real vision, to use it as a vehicle. Because it's talking about expressed through the body, from one body to another. So we must use our bodies to get vision. To receive real vision, or to actually, to experience real vision and perceive the truth through our body.
Help you enlarge your perception so you can experience real vision. Physical eyes are incapable.
So using our body, but also spirit, obviously, through the guidance of spirit, we get the real vision.
Yeah. We do. The physical eyes are incapable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So reinterpretation of the body, function of the body, as a, the body's useful for a while you're learning this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a retranslation of everything that the physical eyes see, reinterpreted from the perspective of oneness is the spiritual sight. That's Christ's vision, and that's transformation of perception is called a miracle or correction. This is the ability the Holy Spirit gives you, and that's how you correct your mind and restore it to the awareness of your true self and of the pure formless awareness of perfect love that underlies your true self. Okay, very simple, very very simple, but to practice it repeatedly over.
It's different story to practice.
Yeah,
I mean, it's more. It's more undoing the conditioning beliefs, the conditioned beliefs or the thought system.
Yeah, it's undoing the way you currently perceive.
Yeah,
yes, from a belief system. We see that it's actually all our own belief.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. Go back to
every day I let go of beliefs. I do a release prayer to letting go prayer, release prayer to release so many thought patterns and beliefs that are not serving.
So our interpretation of our perceptions, that's the problem. Belief, thought, and emotion create perception. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And that's what we've got to let go of.
Yeah.
But that's what you define as yourself. So that's why it's challenging. You think this is you. Belief, thought, emotion, perception makes up the false self. Now you've got to let go of what you thought it was you.
Yeah.
Which is easier said than done.
Yep, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so moving swiftly on then to number 3, Elaine, if you can read that's quite a long one, but that's fallen into tonight. So,
do you mind if I pass on that, because I've got a tickly cough? So could I pass on this one? Sorry, yes, I'm going to listen in.
Okay. All right. Okay, John, will you be honest then?
Yeah, I'm here. I'll just get. Okay. Fantasy is a distorted form of vision. Fantasies of okay. Fantasy is a distorted form of vision. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fantasies of any kind are distortions because they always involve twisting perception into unreality. Fantasies of any kind are distortions because they always involve twisting perception into unreality. Actions. Beg your pardon?
Does that make sense to you?
Well, it's all about fantasies distorting the truth.
Yeah.
So fantasy is the opposite of vision.
Yeah, and they are distortions very clearly. So you twist perception through false belief and thought. Belief, thought, emotion, twist perception into something else. You're not having true perception now, it's some distortion. And you wish it. Fantasy is, I wish, I imagine, I wish for it to for something to be this way. And that desire behind fantasy distorts perception, twists it into unreality. Okay.
Actions that stem from distortions are literally the reactions to those who know not what they do. Actions that stem from distortions are literally the reactions of those who know not what they do.
Yeah, we'll say who do not. I like that. I think it's better.
Yeah.
Who do not know what they do.
I mean, if you distort something and then follow up on that, it has to be unmeaningful.
Reactions of those who do not know what they do. So we're in our wrong mind, we're in a delusion, it's fantasy, it's a distortion of perception, and we act in certain ways to try and fulfill that fantasy, but all of it's false. We've taken ourselves into distorted reality. Okay, number 4.
Yeah. Fantasy is an attempt to control reality according to false needs. Fantasy is an attempt to control reality according to false needs. So,
according to, or shall we maybe say through false needs?
Yeah.
According to.
It's a bit of,
or maybe in alignment. Is that through? According to false needs.
in order to satisfy.
Yeah, that's not bad. I like that. In order to satisfy false needs. Makes it very explicit what you're trying to do. Okay. Twist reality.
We lost it now. We're on 6, aren't we?
No, 5. Twist reality. Twist reality.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Twist reality in any way, and you are perceiving destructively.
Okay, it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
And that reality should be capital R, really.
Yeah.
Twist reality.
Yeah.
Way, and you're perceiving destructively. So we twist true reality in any way, shape, or form, any distortion of our perception, and we perceive destructively. Okay, fantasies are a means
Fantasies are a means of making false associations and attempting to obtain pleasure from them. Fantasies are a means of making false associations and attempting to obtain pleasure from them.
Yeah, although you can, so you get that, making a false association, and then you try and obtain pleasure from it.
So we are linking up fantasies and
distortions of reality.
Distortions of reality.
Make false associations. So we go, let's say I've got a particular thing for chocolate, or some food, or maybe it's sex. There's a good one for fantasies, and then I make false associations, and all kinds of weird beliefs come in, don't they? People have all these crazy especially with sexual. So what he's addressing here is this. It's the only time he really talks about physical impulses in the whole course. So this addresses, sex as well as any physical impulse, not just that. So we make false associations through the fantasy. Oh no, like I really get off on being whipped or chained or whatever it is. False association, and I attempt to obtain pleasure from it. And then we see it. They act this out in the physical. It's bizarre, and they think that somehow that's going to work and bring them what they need. but it definitely doesn't seem to be a recipe for lasting happiness.
Yeah.
It's always the seeking, then if you're indulging in that kind of thing, then what has to happen is you have to do more of it, don't you? So I got my kick of whatever kinky pleasure I've falsely made up, and then I have to do more, and it can become an obsession and a complete addiction, as we know. So because the mind is distorting, it takes you into a false reality. Okay.
Yep.
So
number 7.
7.
But although you can perceive false associations, you can never make them real except to yourself.
Yeah.
It's a bit puzzling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But although you can perceive false associations, yes, I understand that, you can never make them real. Okay, you can never make them real except to yourself. That isn't real, is it? It's just real.
Yeah, well, that's to your maybe we should qualify that and say to your separate self. So then it's clearly, the ego, to yourself. So your separate self believes they're real, but they're only real in its perception and in its reality.
Yep, number 8.
You believe in what you make.
You believe in what you make.
So we make a dream, project out from a false belief, we make it up, and then we believe what we've made. So we believe the projection is true, and that's how the cycle works. And it's a self-reinforcing cycle of projection perception that keeps us in prison. Prison of a false reality.
If you offer corrections,
Yeah, let's just do so that would be miracles. If you offer miracles,
you will be equally strong in your belief in them. If you offer corrections, you will be equally strong in your belief in them. So if we follow our right mind and offer forgiveness, we are equally convinced of the effects of that.
Yeah, you're strong in your belief in them, because it becomes a self-reinforcing cycle. Maybe I'll show it on the integral model. Actually, might be useful. So I project out the truth from my true belief, and then I perceive the results of that, which strengthens the belief, the underlying truth, and so it becomes self-reinforcing. So integral model, here we go. Interior, exterior, right? So I have a true belief, my one self, and I reinterpret things that I'm seeing in the external world from that perspective, which then reinforces, comes back to me, gives me experiences in the external world that my mind then interprets and says, okay, well that's confirmation that actually this new thought system's change of mind is true. You just got a confirmation, and so it gets strengthened. And so we almost cycle through. I mean, it's sort of spider's web. We start at the beginning, in the middle, in the center here, just very bound to the body. We think we're a body, and then gradually, as we start expanding, we start doing this process of letting go of our false thoughts and emotions, seeing the confirmations, in the external, and then cycling back. It's like a circle, you see. So you go around this, and that is a self-reinforcing cycle. And so you cycle through this upwards, onwards, and outwards. It's not a linear, oh, I just go from there to there. It's like you've got to cycle around. It's like the maze. You know, have you ever walked in a maze? The circular maze. It's the same. You know, you walk, and you've got to get to the core from the outside, and then outside all the way back in. You don't just walk straight. So that's kind of how life works. You've got to cycle through these things, and every time you have an opportunity for a miracle, it's a cycle. You've cycled through, you've let go, and that expands your vision of it. You have an expanded perception. Okay.
Number 10.
Yeah, strength of your conviction will then.
The strength of your conviction will then sustain the belief of the miracle receiver. The strength of your conviction will then sustain the belief of the correction receiver. So when we are committed to something, convinced of it, we help our brother find their own belief in it.
Correction receiver. So you have conviction, it will then sustain the belief of the person receiving the correction. So I mean, an example of that, let's say, Elaine, you had a correction the other day, miracle you shared, and then you got support. It was like, I said, yeah, well, that's exactly what a miracle is, and so on. So I have conviction in these things, and then that sustains the belief of you who received the correction. You go, oh, okay, I see what it was. That was useful, because you got the support. And that can happen in a personal situation as well. So you have conviction, and then you make a correction, and then that helps the other person to believe in the correction as well. Correction receiver, the miracle. Receiver of correction. We'll maybe make it. Okay, number 11.
Fantasies become totally unnecessary as the wholly satisfying nature of reality becomes apparent to both giver and receiver.
Okay. Totally unnecessary. I think that's going to be the same. And then maybe just capital R, reality. Because that just tells you, is a capital, is he referring to true reality, is he referring to false reality? Yeah, reality is lost.
So reality is lost through usurpation, which produces tyranny. Reality is lost. Yes.
Usurpation means, maybe we can find a synonym of that. It's not a common word, is it? Usurpation. So it means the action of the usurper. Son resultat. Okay. Usurper. Translate usurpation to English. Okay. So translated French.
Usually it means taking someone's identity, like stealing someone's identity. Usurper.
Strictly speaking, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usurpation.
I'll have to reread the sentence again to see if it fits.
No. I don't think we want Le Robert. Well, I don't know why it's doing French translations. Must have found something in Google.
Yeah.
Action des super, son resultat. I'm like, why is it giving me French? Must have done something.
I also used to get English, like I usually like actually the Google English translation, but now it's giving me everything in French. I don't know why, but I used
active usurping, right? I don't know. So usurping meaning.
Yeah, take, I think.
Oh yeah, so we've got take a position of power or importance illegally or by force. Take the place of someone in a position of power illegally, supplant. That's what he means.
They usually say usurpation of identity, like if someone takes your identity.
Or usurped his power.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but usurpation is this idea of taking the place of the true self. So the ego is usurped.
Yeah.
That is lost through usurpation. Maybe we just need to define that. Usurpation of the self by the ego, by the true self. The separate self. So that's to clarify. I mean, that's what he means.
Yeah.
And usurp probably is the correct word because it's actually, what it means. You just have to look it up. Through replacement, maybe. I suppose we could use replacement. To replacement is another word for it. Reality is lost through replacement of the true self by the separate self.
I quite like usurpation, actually. Yeah, replacement is.
I guess the idea of a translation is just to give someone, if they're not sure what usurpation means, give them what it means.
Yeah.
It is lost through replacement of the true self by the separate self, which produces tyranny. So now you have a tyrant, self-appointed tyrant in charge of your mind. That's saying, no, I'm the big boss, I'm the big cheese, I know what's going on, you got to listen to me. And it's insane. Its voice is crazy and insane, and it gives us very bad guidance. But by our own election, our own choice, we've appointed it as our guide in life. So all tyranny comes from that inner tyranny. We've done this crazy substitution or replacement of the true self with the separate self, and then we experience tyranny as a result.
Shall we go to number 13?
Yeah. As long as a single slave.
As long as a single slave remains to walk the earth, your release is not complete. So as long as one person remains bound, we are all none of them free.
And that's why Yeshua, even though he's not physical anymore, is still working for his at-one-ment from on high in the other realm, just in the domain of the mind, because he's not fully free until every single person, the entire mind, has come back to oneness and is in pure formless awareness of perfect love. So we would join the Christ mind. We don't need to come back in physical, but we would join the Christ mind along with Yeshua, and we would then be one with that mind, helping the people of Earth to awaken to that in our future purpose. And that will continue as long as there's a single slave who remains to walk the earth. So as long as there's still people who believe they're separate selves, believe in the ego still, then your release is not complete. So you carry on, working for the release of the entire mind. That's the at-one-ment process. So he's in charge of the at-one-ment, and he continues to work, which is why, in giving this course, he's not just chilling out in pure formless awareness, is he? His mind must be interacting with Helen's mind. saying, okay, well, I'm gonna form the words and I'm gonna give you this. So he has to interact in the dream world in order to save us, to free us from it. So it's our job to, while we're here in the physical, to do the same. Be the agents. The agents on earth of the Christ mind, to be inspired by it. So consciousness induces action, but does not inspire it. Do you understand what he's saying? The ego can induce many actions. You feel like that kind of urge to go do something. That's what he means by induces, but it does not inspire it. It's not coming from the Christ mind if it's induced. It's coming from the false self. Yeah, so that one man must conclude every mind. Your release is not complete until that's happened. Okay, and final.
Complete restoration of the extension, complete restoration of sonship is the only goal of the miracle-minded. Complete restoration of the extension is the only goal of the correction-minded. Which is a reinforcement of the last sentence.
Complete restoration of the extension, the only goal of the correction-minded. Okay, so what's he saying here? In paragraph 3, summarize.
So fantasy is always a deviation from the truth and will always lead us astray. But when we align with truth, we reinforce our own. We reinforce the process of atonement for ourselves and our companions. And in so doing, fantasies fall to one side.
Totally unnecessary. So highly satisfying nature. So all the fantasies the mind engages in just fall away. Like I don't need fantasy. It's a pure substitute for reality. Whereas you engage in fantasies, that's the little tyrant, the separate self that's usurping the true self every time you believe in the fantasy, which produces tyranny, that produces enslavement of your mind. So if only people knew, all their so-called fantasies they cherish, sexual fantasies and whatever else. Usually we associate, fantasy with sexual fantasy, but it could be a fantasy of, one day I'll be rich and famous, one day I'll be a Hollywood superstar, whatever. People have these fantasies, like one day I'll be, I'm desiring to be something I'm not. So usurpation, a placement of the true self by the separate self. And that produces tyranny because we've now enslaved ourselves through that process. And the true self is submerged and we're not aware of it. So yeah, important point. It's I think this is the only section really in the entire course where Yeshua deals with physical pleasure and things like sex and stuff. Doesn't even use the word sex. It's got entirely cut out. I think they edited it all out in the I think there was some mention in the wood text, but they edited that out. Made it sort of more general fantasy. but is referring to any of those kind of fantasies of the mind that are not helpful. They're not going to help us to free our minds. They're going to enslave our minds. So he's saying, well, look, don't indulge in them because they give you a short-term pleasure, but long-term, the pain of the tyranny of the ego is much greater. So poof, crop goes all of that fantasy, the entire. I mean, this course just collapses entire multi-million or trillion-dollar industries, doesn't it? There goes the whole world of porn. Ding, gone. In this teaching, it's just undone. Not necessary anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
Clear? Happy to move on to number 4.
Yep.
Okay.
Am I doing it, or is Orly doing it?
Well, let's ask Orly. Orly, still with us? Want to do it? It's a course in mind training.
I'm falling asleep. I'm a bit sleepy now.
Okay, we got 2 paragraphs. And they're not too bad. 5th one's sort of intermediate. So this is your last one. John will do the 5th one. If you're okay with that, John.
Okay, so this is a course in mind training. The course in mind training. So far is okay.
Yeah.
All learning involves attention and study at some level. Yeah. Did you change that? No. Oh, no. All learning involves attention and study at some level. That's clear.
I haven't changed that. I don't think any. Anyway, read it. Let's see if there's any change required.
No.
Some of the later parts. So it's the same. It's exactly the same. So just read the alternative and see if we.
Some of the later parts of the course rest too heavily on these earlier sections, not to require their careful study.
Yep.
You will also need
preparation.
You will also need them for preparation. Without this, you may become much too fearful of what is to come to make constructive use of it. What do they mean? What are they referring to? What is to come to make constructive use of it? What's to come? And do they mean like in the real world or in the outer world? Or what's to come?
No, he's talking about his course,
Okay. But
what is to come in the course. He's saying you will
the rest of the course, okay.
Yeah. This course rests too heavily on these earlier sections, not to require their careful study. So he's saying, look, don't skip over this. Study this stuff, the first 5 chapters, which is what we're doing in the course, carefully, because this is the preparation, it's the foundation for what is to come.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, then you could become much too fearful of what is to come to make constructive use of it.
Oh yeah, that's why people drop out, right? People drop the study of the course because the ego resists and gets more challenged. Yeah.
And the temptation is to skip over and go, oh no, I don't really need that. Or a common one is I'll just do the workbook. I'm not going to bother about the text because I don't know, I just don't need to do it.
But it helps to understand actually the lessons, the text.
Yeah, I mean they're meant, the courses you're meant to read both.
Yeah.
There's no particular way. It doesn't specify how you should do it. But all I've done with the art of letting go is, okay, well, let's do it, systematically. Start with chapter 1, or the preface, and then the introduction, then chapter 1 of the text, and work through it section by section. It's in sections so that you can kind of chunk it down, and you can do a section at a time. And then the workbook, 1 lesson a day, that's obvious. And you do that concurrently. So you work through that concurrently. And if you do that systematically for a year, you'll work through the entire course.
Yeah.
I've done it. But you chunk it down to bite-sized pieces, and you don't try and take too much at a time. Because you could read this passage in 5 minutes, couldn't you? It's only 5 paragraphs, not that long.
Yeah.
You could read it quickly, but would you really understand it?
Yeah, that's the thing. That
You
is
know,
the
if you-
that is the
of course,
question.
this is one course that you shouldn't speed read. I would highly advise not to speed read. Of course,
Yeah, you need to understand or try to understand what you're reading.
yeah, it's like, okay, every line, every sentence, ponder, you know. So this is what we're doing. That's why it takes 3
Mm.
hours. Well, actually, this will take less. It'll take about 90 minutes or so to do 5 paragraphs, because it's like,
Yeah.
okay, let's talk about it, discuss it, translate it. And then you've done a thorough, it's like, okay, you've really prepared yourself, solid foundation for what's to come, for you building the foundations of the thought system
Yeah.
on which further realizations will come and all the work lessons will come. And, you know, in my view, that's the only way to do it. I think if you do it haphazardly, it's like building a house and go, well, I put a little bit of the foundation down, but not, I'll just skip that. Skip that step. We don't really need the good foundation. It's fine. Let's start putting some bricks in, and we like a living room, and then no proper foundation. Well,
Without
what's going to happen?
cement. You just pile up bricks without cement.
Yeah, whatever, you know, and there's no foundation. I mean, it's obviously going to be a disaster. It's not going to go well. Any builder will tell you that. So, you know, but at the course, a lot of people don't lay a solid foundation because they're not systematic and progressive. So they dip in and out, and they do a bit here. They might be doing the workbook, but they haven't really studied the text. And so it's a bit itty bitty, and you know, accordingly, they don't really understand it. They find it difficult to apply to their life, and often they drop out. They just go, oh, it didn't really work for me. You know, I kind of tried. I dipped in. I've read the book. I mean, people say I've read it. Well, you know, did you really study it? Did you really immerse yourself in it? Because that's what it's meant to be. And because of that, you go deeply into this course. You know, you can keep doing it. I've been doing this for 16 years, 17 years now. You just keep going deeper. It's deeper and deeper with each passing year. It's like, okay, I'm going deeper, another layer, because it's a tool for exploration into my own self. And there's no limit to that self. So I could use this as a tool to just go deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's happened over the last 17 years. When I started, I mean, there's no way I did it at this level. I just read it. I was like, okay, I kind of get it. But, you know, I'd read this in 5-10 minutes. Go, okay, well, I've read it. Okay. But did I really get it? I don't think so. No. Didn't really like internalize, download at the start. So, you know, that's the advantage of doing it systematically like this. You are installing a new operating system. You will get this at a much deeper level. Because of that, and you know, the benefits will show up in your everyday life. Okay, so this is really what he's saying. You know,
however, as you study,
a bit of coaching on the process here.
The last line was, however, as you study these earlier sections, you will begin to see some of the implications that will be amplified later on. So
yeah. So I'm not sure. Does that need any translation? I don't think it needs a translation. It's okay.
No, I think it's fine. It's easy to understand.
Fine as it is. Because he's just giving us, he's dropped here into coaching mode, isn't he? He's given us, okay, let's talk about the course, where we are in the course, what, you know, how this will help you in your learning. It's no longer teaching the theory. It's actually talking about the process of.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually to see this right now.
Well, he does it from time to time, especially in the workbook. There's these little intervals where he says, okay, here we are in the course, let's review what's going on, where are you in your learning, you know, because that's what a good coach would do, wouldn't he? He'd say, okay, so let's pause the theory for a bit, teaching, and let's check in and see where you're at, how you're going. You know, that's what I did tonight in the session. Okay, so, you know, that's not theory. It's like, how you're doing, what's your experience like, how's it going? You know, that's good coaching, isn't it? So you know, he's kind of with us on the journey. This is what he's saying. So number 4, I don't think needs too much else. He's very clearly saying, look, study this carefully because it's going to prepare you for what's to come. You know, that's the easy summary of it, isn't it? Okay, and number 5, last paragraph. John, can you take it home?
Yeah. A solid foundation is necessary because of the confusion between fear and awe, to which I have already referred, and which is often made.
Yeah.
So we take that as it is.
Yeah, I think so. Or, as I said, he referred to it earlier in the chapter, and it's saying, the appropriate reaction to God, pure
Yeah.
fullness, awareness, and perfect love is awe, because it's awe-inspiring. You're in that awareness. It's mind-blowing because you're out of normal reality. You're in this transcendent reality that completely undoes everything. So it's awe-inspiring. But people can get confused and think that that's fearful. And the ego thinks that, somehow that experience of pure formless awareness, perfect love would be fearful, because they've got a false idea of what God is. God is a judgmental God. God judges all of us. Someone said that to me today, actually. Having an issue with someone, and she was like, formal Christian. God judges all of us in our heart. No, God doesn't judge us. God knows us. God knows that we are as he is, as love. We are exactly the same, and there's no other judgment. But you see, there's the confusion. God as a judgmental God is fearful. It's a fearful concept, isn't it? And which is often made.
Yes, that's very interesting, because I received a prayer from someone, and exactly what you just said. It was in that kind of text or prayer from Jesus or whatever it was. No, it was from a religious text, and it was exactly that. It was talking about being guilty, or God judges you as guilty. So I was like, what?
Yeah.
Where's that coming from? What kind of God
Well,
do
it comes
you
from the
preach
ego.
to?
It comes from
That's
the
not the
ego.
right God. That's the wrong God.
No, exactly. It's a false God, and
It's
you
a false
can't
God. Yeah.
you can't believe in that and believe in the God of love. It's not
No.
possible.
Yeah.
The two are at odds.
Yeah.
And then you see, if people believe that, they have a totally twisted belief system.
Exactly.
And you cannot agree with that because
No.
their belief system's false.
And they still, I mean, I know it's human, but most people still how do you say, reinforce these fears, doubts, and worries mindsets, they don't let go of that stuff. They still live in fear, like you just said, will be confused with fear. Exactly that, what it says here.
They fear God, they fear they'll be judged and condemned.
That's on the 8, actually. It's talking about it in the 8.
Yeah. What, number 8 in
there that we're reading now.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So let's carry on.
I have said that awe is inappropriate in connection with the sons of God, because you should not experience awe in the presence of your equals. So, translation, I have said that awe is inappropriate in connection with the extensions of perfect love, because you should not experience awe in the presence of your equals.
Yeah. That's what he said earlier in the chapter. So he said awe is an inappropriate reaction to me because I'm equal to you. We are same. We are both extensions of this one source.
But I saw this here they're talking about is equally perceived, isn't it? By the extensions, by the sonship or whatever.
We can have awe in the presence of the creator, the source.
Yeah.
But not in the presence of the extensions of the source. That's what he's saying.
Oh.
So someone like Yeshua was an extension. He's a son of God in the same way as we are. We don't have awe because he's the same as us. But we experience awe in the presence of our source. It's a different experience. Yeah. So awe is revelation. It's talking about a revelation. You're immersing yourself in pure formless awareness of perfect love. It goes way beyond if you go, I'm in awe of Jesus, and this is what people have done. They pedestalized him. As Alan Watts says, they put him on a pedestal, and they said he's the big cheese. He's the greatest guy ever. He's the Son of God. He's the
Yeah.
only one. He died for our sins, blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
And they put him on a pedestal and they say he is like a demigod.
Yeah.
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 Someone once said to me, how dare they? It's blasphemy to create a god of a person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Or
that's
it's an
kind of what I'm
idol.
saying.
It's an idol. They
It's
create
an idol, yeah.
an
It's a
idol.
false belief. Now you worship that and you deny the source that's beyond that. That becomes another block
Yeah.
to the awareness of love's presence, because you're believing in that rather than in the true source. And awe would be your appropriate reaction to your source, because it's an experience. Awe is just it's an awesome. When people say awesome, man, you know, so commonly used saying, oh, man, so awesome. It's totally misappropriated. You have no idea what that really means.
I used to
What's
say that
awesome
word a
is-
lot. Awesome.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
awesome, but it's not really awesome. It's just the ego's misuse of
Yes,
the term to describe some
absolutely.
physical experience, usually physical pleasure. Oh, it was exciting. No, it was exciting. It was energizing. It was like whatever. But awesome is another experience entirely. That's you go in to your true awareness. You have a revelation experience. You are in the presence of your source. And it's completely transcendent of this world and reality. That's what's truly awesome. Nothing
Yeah.
else deserves the title. So
It's
very,
not like
he
it's
gets
not
very
like
precise with the language.
yeah. It's not like those idols that people always see, especially singers or Hollywood stars or whatever. Like especially singers, like I can see still like some children and youth. They have so
Yeah.
many. I mean, even I did when I was younger. I remember
Experience more in the
I had
presence, you know.
idols. I had idols.
So imagine, you know, your favorite pop star comes to town.
Yeah,
and you go,
exactly.
oh
I
my
gotta go
God,
see it.
oh,
See
you know,
that
the
person.
idol's here. Let me get the autograph. Let me just hang out. I want to touch the
Exactly.
person. I want to go to their concert because I'm in the presence of
Yeah.
an idol. And I was like, this
Exactly.
isn't the truth. I mean, I went to a Tony Robbins seminar once in London,
Oh yeah.
and it was like idolatry. They were worshiping him.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
I've seen this before.
Tony. And he's on stage. There's 4,000 people. I mean, it was quite something to behold. I mean, but it was like, what is this? Is this a personal growth seminar? Is this some kind of new age, some kind of like almost like those American preachers, you know, the new age, like hallelujah, pray, like just totally, because he knew how to manipulate the energy, so he could take people into these altered states. But then they're like, he's on the stage, and it's like it's like a rock concert. It's a combination of some kind of messianical, new age Christian thing combined with the rock concert going on. And I was like, whoa, is that really presence? Is presence really there? Was this just another false idol?
Ego.
Just ego amping
Ego.
it up. And everyone's like amping up and getting hyped up. You know, but it's like a false state, isn't it? It's like a usurpation of the
Sounds
true
like
peace.
attention-seeking kind of behavior.
Well, it's playing with people's emotions.
Emotions.
So they can. He's very good at taking people up, and he knew exactly how to energize people and raise people up. Yeah, we're getting excited, you know, and everyone gets charged up, and it's like a frenzy, a crowd frenzy, and then he'd like take you down, and then take you up, and then take you down. And I was like watching all of this because I had enough awareness at that stage to go, okay, I'm not sure I'm going to just allow myself to be manipulated like this. You know, he's manipulating my emotions and my state of mind. I know what he's trying to do, but like, no, I just observed. I didn't really get into it because I understood what he was doing, and that's exactly the kinds of techniques that people like Hitler used. You know, those kinds of mass manipulation techniques: get everyone in a frenzy, take them up, take them down, manipulate their energy. You can only do that to people who have not trained their minds properly, because they will accept what you're telling.
I heard him several times, but I used to, maybe not, maybe he's changed, maybe he's done some more work, but I always used to sense and feel some anger in his voice. Like he was always angry when he talks to his voice. And I couldn't actually listen to him because maybe my ego felt an attack with his voice because I felt anger from this person, this character.
I mean, I listened to his seminar. He did a number of the sessions himself, and there was both. I saw ego very clearly. There was like macho, bravado, all that stuff. Like I'm the man, and it very much the false self usurping the true self. Not really that authentic. And then he had one session, I remember, where he told a story, which was quite moving because, he came from a really difficult background.
Mm-hmm.
He told the story of why he started a charity to feed kids.
Mm.
And that was very moving. I thought, he's in his authentic self. There's no bullshit. There's no bragging. He's just, and you could see he was close to tears. It was like really moving. So then you go, okay, that was authentic, but a lot of the other stuff wasn't. So it's like, a bit of Jekyll and Hyde. What's actually going on here? And obviously he's trying to sell his next program. So there's an agenda in it. This is an introduction.
Yeah.
It's a low value introduction to the rest of his world. Oh, now come on the next thing, which you get to spend time with Tony and an elite group of people, and he'll take you. He hasn't given you the full thing here, but he's going to give you the full thing there. This is his next. And this is what happened. Oh yeah, I love the energy, because he knows how to manipulate energy. So then you go along that track, and it becomes another addiction. Oh, I like the energy. I want more of that. Instead of like, really, I just give it to you straight. You do a seminar with me, I'll tell you the truth. The truth is you have it all yourself. Actually, it's already in you.
I know.
And you might want to come deeper with me to undo the false self. I mean, that's really what we're doing.
But
that,
doing the
growth,
false self with
become
another false self, how does that work?
No, yeah, well, you don't. You see, so what they're selling there is another false self. Oh, you've got a better self.
Yeah.
You could be better. You could have
a better version of yourself.
Better version of you, yeah, better version of you. So you're kind of dysfunctional now. You haven't quite cut it. You haven't quite succeeded in life. But you come, on this programming, and we're going to show you, and you'll have this amazing self. You're going to be, everything's going to work, and you're going to have the designer body, and you're going to have the best relationship, and you're going to have material abundance, wealth, and everything you want is like, but it's illusion, isn't it? Yeah. We all know life doesn't actually work that way. No one, even celebrities who seem to have everything, they often don't, because internally they haven't really found their true self. So it's spinning another illusion and not actually going to bring you back home to your true self, which is always there, just waiting quietly for you to come. And it comes in the quietness and the peace, not in the blaring lights. And it comes in stillness. Okay, I just feel it. It's a deeper presence. It's a call. I'm just feeling that. I'm connecting with that, and it's in me. It's not something that Tony or anyone else can give me. It's in me. It's my own true self. It's my true nature. So no one can take it away from me. No one can give it to me. Up to me to connect with it. But that's not a message that will necessarily make millions, is it?
Yeah. And it's interesting. After you mentioned him actually the other day, it's funny. I mean, it's interesting that I was going to sometime I listened to other ACIM videos, and he came on like an ad of him and his wife came on to promote a 5-day challenge for, so I can't remember what it was, but it was promoting 5-day challenge with his wife now. So it was interesting to see the dynamic of the couple, as well. If his ego was coming out or not in that presentation.
Yeah, well, there's I could definitely sense there was ego. So it wasn't a clear channel, but there was still truth. Underneath it, he does talk about God, and he talks about grace. But how clear, has he done a Course in Miracles? I doubt it. It's very, because he would be teaching it then. If you know the truth, you can't not teach it. So, blocks still there. So do you want to learn from the teacher, worldly teacher, who still has blocks, or are you going to go for the ultimate? I mean, what Yeshua's is saying is, look, I've done it. No ego there, but I've escaped. I've got out the dream. I'm out the matrix. So listen to me and I'll show you how, because I've done it.
Yeah.
So, you want to follow someone who's escaped, not someone who's still in the process of trying to escape.
It's the same as saying you got to walk the path, because if you're not walking the path, then you're lying to people.
Yeah.
You're lying, you're denying the truth of love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So always, I was also emphasized that always proper in the presence of your source. So in the presence of your source, if you have that experience of pure formless awareness, of perfect love, that's all. You'll be in an awesome state.
Mhm.
And that's the only proper use of awe. So never use awe in any other way. When you say awesome, total, no. This is like you're trying to associate something of the ego with something of the spirit, and that doesn't work. So what the Course has is a very specific language, which makes you clear. The language is clear so that you understand what's what. Otherwise, it all gets mixed up. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Or everything's awesome. Or what is awesome? And so there's no clear distinction between the truth and illusion. It all gets bundled into one awesome mess. Really. Okay. Anyway, so I've been careful to clarify my role in the at-one-ment. John, you want to carry on?
Yeah, I have been careful to clarify my role in the atonement without either over or understating it. I have been careful to clarify my role in the at-one-ment without either overstating or understating it.
Yeah, I just translated over or and then he hyphenates it. Okay. So he's not overstating or understating. He's saying, look, this is my role is to help you. I'm your guide. He's really the Christ mind. He's not Yeshua such. He's the Christ mind, which is our own true self, that's giving us the guidance. Clarifying the role in the at-one-ment. And there's no ego. He's not trying to be the big cheese because he's got an ego that needs to be the big cheese. He's just trying to tell us exactly how it is. That's helpful for us. Okay. So he says, I'm also trying to do the same with yours.
I'm also trying to do the same with yours.
Okay? He means your role in the at-one-ment.
Yeah.
I
have stressed.
Do we need to say your role? Is that clear that he's referring to your role in the at-one-ment?
Well, you could put that in just to make sure.
Just in case someone's not quite sure what yours means. Your.
I have stressed that awe is not an appropriate reaction to me because of our inherent equality. That's okay.
Okay.
Some of the later steps in this course, however, involve a more direct approach to pure formless awareness of perfect love itself.
Which is God, I think, God itself.
Some of the later steps
approach to God himself.
More direct approach to God himself.
So latest, the experience. He starts moving you into experience. He goes beyond theory, saying, words are not necessary now. We're moving more into experience. Final step is taken by God. You're moving more into the experience where words are not necessary, and so on. That's what he's referring to. And I always put however at the beginning. I don't think it's good. I don't know why they put in the middle of the sentence. So we'll change that. Okay, so it would be unwise.
It would be unwise to start on these steps without careful preparation, or awe will be confused with fear, and the experience will be more traumatic than beatific.
Is that actually how you spell it? Just going to check the spelling. Yeah, seems to like beatific. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's how you spell it.
Yeah, more. So beatific is sort of elevating, going into a.
Yeah.
Let's just check that out. exactly what it means. Always useful to do a beatific feeling or expressing blissful happiness. Christian theology, imparting holy bliss. So more traumatic than blissful, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's better.
Well, then people understand what that means.
Yeah. Healing comes from pure formless awareness of perfect love.
So healing as of the
God.
original was healing. Healing is of God in the end.
Yeah, healing is of God in the end. Healing comes from pure formless awareness of perfect love in the end. The means are being carefully explained to you. Revelation may occasionally reveal the end to you, but to reach it, the means are needed.
Does that make sense?
I think what it's saying here is that the beauty of God may occasionally be revealed to us, but in order to get there, we need to know how.
Yeah, exactly. So the revelation reveals the end, which is pure formless awareness. It's a direct experience of this. You might go into that for a while. Occasionally saying, look, don't expect it to be a consistent experience. Yeah, it's not going to happen all the time. So you might get these experiences from time to time. I think David Hoffmeister is pretty enlightened, said he's had 3 revelation experiences in his life. I've had 1 revelation experience. Yeah, so they're not often, but 1 will change your mind, blows your mind. You're like, I actually see. You know, I can personally experience the end. And I go out of time and space for that time and I experience the end, but then I come back into time and realize there's still more work to do. To reach it, the means are needed. And the means are, you know, the letting go, forgiveness. It corrects your perception, which cleans your mind, which opens your mind to this pure form experience of pure formless awareness, perfect love more and more. Okay, so what's he saying in that paragraph?
It's saying that awe is to be applied only to pure formless awareness, not to our brothers or the extension of pure formless awareness, because to do so would be to confuse the matter, confuse ourselves.
Yeah, and that you know, the preparation, we must prepare well for the later sections. So you're asking us to study these ones carefully so that we're prepared for you know, the later sections where he asks us to go more into the bliss, just abandon ourselves to the pure formless awareness of perfect love. In the meantime, you know, the means. So it's a Course in Miracles, because miracles are the means, and revelation may occasionally reveal the end to you. It's like a little, you went to the end briefly and then you came back. You got a glimpse of the end destination, but you know, the miracles are the systematic progressive way you undo the ego and you open your mind more and more to this awareness.
Because I like the latter part of this reading.
Yeah. So we normally do a little personalized executive summary. Key messages of the section are that, and then you just take one sentence from each paragraph and kind of summarize it. So the first paragraph was distorted perceptions produce a dense cover over miracle impulses. All pleasure is not doing. Denial of self results in illusions. Oh, okay, so something like this. Key messages of the section are that physical impulses or misdirected miracle impulses. All real pleasure comes from doing God's will. Comes from following the guidance of my true self.
I think that's it.
When I know my true self, results in illusions, correction of the denial. He says me from them. Okay.
Yeah.
So then number 2 was created to create the good, the beautiful, and the holy. Body's only true useful, and this is learning to do this. You can use your body, you can use my body to help me enlarge my perception. The idea is it's personalized, so I can use my best to help me enlarge my perception. So I can experience real vision, which physical eyes are incapable, because I can experience real vision, of which my physical eyes capable. And then number 3, it's about fantasies. Fantasies distort reality. So the idea of this is just to fantasize by false associations and trying to obtain pleasure from them. Distorts my perception. My awareness of my true self. And there was a nice line here that said, fantasies become totally unnecessary. Totally unnecessary as I realize only satisfy nature reality through letting go of my fantasies and illusions. And then he just talks about the course being course in mind training, and I need to pay attention to it. So I need to course in mind training. I need to stay close. I need to study these early parts of it carefully. And myself for what is to come and not confuse fear and awe. Okay, and then final one, final paragraph was so awe is inappropriate.
Have awe only for pure formless awareness.
Yeah.
Don't.
Awe is truly experienced. I can only experience awe when I am in pure formless awareness. And it's not a good reaction to Yeshua or anyone else.
Yeah.
And then revelation that's what it is. The revelation of this awareness may occasionally reveal the end to me. To reach it, I must consistently let go and change my perception to and perceive on my true self, true rather than my separate self. Okay. So do you want to read, see if Aurelie still with us. Do you want to read the summary? See if that makes sense?
Yeah.
That'll be a nice summary of the program.
The key messages of this section are that physical impulses are misdirected miracle impulses. All real pleasure comes from following the guidance of my true self, but when I deny my true self, it results in illusions, while correction of the denial releases me from them. I think you've got a double space between I and deny.
Oh, correct. Thanks.
I can use my body best to help me enlarge my perception so I can experience real vision, of which my physical eyes are incapable. I fantasize by making false associations and trying to obtain pleasure from them, which distorts my perception and blocks my awareness of my true self. But fantasies become totally unnecessary as I realize the wholly satisfying nature of reality through letting go of my fantasies and illusions. This is a course in mind training, and I need to study these early parts of it carefully to prepare myself for what is to come and not confuse fear and awe. I can only experience awe when I am in pure formless awareness, and it is not an appropriate reaction to Jeshua or anyone else. Revelation of this awareness may occasionally reveal the end to me, but to reach it, I must consistently let go and perceive from my true self rather than my separate self. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can read that little summary, and you got the key messages in that section, which kind of the crib notes on the whole section. So any final thoughts, comments on that?
I think it's illuminating, especially with regard to the concept of awe.
Yeah, what is actually awe?
Mm.
And clarifying that awe is the state of pure formless awareness. When you experience that, it's a totally different state. As I said, I've experienced it once, and it really was, again, a word, it doesn't really do it justice, but it was something totally different, a different experience from anything I experienced before. Nothing to do with time and space, just pure awareness, pristine, pure, and that's where the name came from, pure formless, because that's all I could describe it as, just pure formless awareness. So that occasionally reveals the end, as happened to me, and can happen on the journey. If it happens, great, very lucky, be blessed. But then you come back into time and space, and you come back to the work of letting go.
Yeah.
Receiving from my true self rather than my separate self. And that's why it's a Course in Miracles and not a Course in Awe or a Course in Revelation, because it's directed at the level of the correction or the miracle to help you change your mind, prepare yourself for this experience, to reach it, to reach this end goal. I must consistently let go. So yeah, he's just in these early sections, I think he's creating a structure for us, isn't he? He's saying, okay, so this is how it works.
Yeah.
Making the distinctions between awe and what's awe and what's fear, and what's appropriate for awe and what's not. And so we start kind of clarifying in our minds. There's a lot of confusion, misinterpretation goes on in spiritual circles, and a lot of sloppy use of language, consciousness being a prime example.
Well, exactly.
That's why you got confused, because well, what does that actually mean? Consciousness is used by different teachings and teachers differently. So that's why it's difficult to mix paths. You see, if you start mixing paths, One path might talk about higher consciousness, and then you go, but in the course, he's saying consciousness is the domain of the ego. So now I'm getting confused.
Yeah.
Because the terminology is not consistent. Are they talking about higher awareness in higher consciousness, or are they actually referring to, some kind of consciousness still of the world? It depends. And, but sometimes it can be consciousness of the world. Or when you go into higher consciousness, you can manifest anything you want. You've heard that story. Well, that's the consciousness of the ego still in separation, trying now to create something in its illusory world to satisfy. That's clearly within the domain of consciousness as is defined here. False. That's the whole personal growth thing we talked about. Oh, I want to manifest something, go into higher consciousness. But actually, is it really higher consciousness? Or is it actually just more of the same consciousness spun in another way? It seems to be more because it's a bigger self, a puffed up, grandiose self. But is it actually more? Or is it just the same consciousness? As he says, grandiosity and littleness are exactly the same. Whether you believe in one or the other, you're still believing in a false self. So that's the difference between this kind of a teaching and something like that. It's very clear. He uses language precisely. He's giving a specific terminology. And if we stick to that and this path, we're not going to get confused because he's given us clear terminology to define these things. We start mixing paths and people use other terminology, we can get very confused because the term means something different in that particular teaching. And if you have, the skill to interpret, you can say, okay, well, for instance, in higher consciousness, we go into, let's say, the scale of consciousness, where's the map of consciousness, somewhere down here. Map of consciousness is there.
Oh, there you go.
Map of consciousness. He talks about higher, pure consciousness at the top there, isn't he?
Yeah.
So what does he mean? Pure consciousness. Okay. Actually, what he's referring to is pure awareness in our terminology.
Yeah, that's
pure formless awareness. But he's using consciousness as substitute for awareness, whereas consciousness in the course definition is actually the consciousness still of separation. So in pure formless awareness, there's no consciousness of separation remaining.
Does he have awareness on this chart? I can't see it.
No. He uses the term consciousness rather than awareness. So again, it's terminology. Suppose you could say consciousness was the ultimate and then just define it as that. But the course has defined it very specifically. So he's using the terms to say, well, any idea of a separate self is consciousness. So the highest consciousness the ego self can possibly come to is that there's one ego mind, there's one kind of universal consciousness called the universal mind that's projected all of us. That's about as far as the ego can go. One consciousness, but still believing in itself, right? Then that would be the false god, wouldn't it? That would be Satan or the universal mind in our teaching. You look at this diagram, descent into hell, where we it's down here. One consciousness, identifying with this as God, would be the false God. Say, okay, that's all there is. I'm in the higher consciousness that created the whole universe. I've arrived. I'm home because I'm identified with this. But Yeshua's saying, no, that's false. This isn't true. Actually, the only thing that's true is beyond that. Call it awareness, pure formless awareness. Beyond conscious, totally outside of the domain of consciousness of this realm, because there's no idea of separation in awareness, pure formless awareness. At these levels, you might still say, in the David Hawkins thing, you might say consciousness is still somewhat bound at level 700, maybe at 1,000, maybe it's not. But, if it's all pure consciousness, then what's the difference between level 700 and level 1,000? Why have the levels then? I mean, the model starts deconstructing at that end, doesn't it? Because it goes into what can't be measured. So it's a pointer. I mean, it's not absolute, it's just a pointer. But it's useful to understand the difference and go, okay, well, actually, in truth, what he's pointing to is pure formless awareness there, and substitute pure awareness rather than consciousness, because then this is actually taking you outside of the dream, the highest level. It's subtle, again, to use that term again already. It's subtle, but it's actually profound, because if you identify with the false self consciousness, then you're in the dream and you're never going to get home. You think that this is it. You think when you get there that you've arrived, and now you're the master of the so-called universe, master of reality, because you can kind of see it from a higher perspective, and maybe you can do conscious manifestation, but actually you're lord of a shit show, really. If you're honest, it's terrible. Why would you want to be master of such a crazy dream? So, but attaining that could then lead you to the next realization. Actually, that's not true either. That's just another illusion. So then you question from that point of view the whole thought of separation that you see lies behind the consciousness. Okay, so actually this is an illusion, because that idea of separation, a separate consciousness, is false. And then you're prepared to let it all go and go back to pure formless awareness. So that's what we're doing here. So awe would be here. When I'm in this awareness, I have awe. I'm in an awesome state. Anything in here is not awe. This is false awe. And anyone who's knocking around in time and space as a seeming person, awe is not an appropriate reaction. You can respect them, you can connect with them. There can be a holy kind of love, namaste, I see you as I am, but it's not awe, because awe is reserved for this state alone. Okay, so any questions, comments?
No, good session, John. Good session.
Yeah, it was a good session. Went on quite long, but if we're going to cover it all, then that's what happens. Normally we would have started earlier, but I did a transformation game with Sally, which is quite interesting. Very interesting, actually. Glad I did that. So I've been pretty much going since 1 o'clock today with a half an hour break. So I think maybe time to call it a night.
Yeah.
So Aurelie, you good? Any questions? Still with us?
Yeah, thank you. I'm off to bed now. Thank you. It was really
Okay,
good.
so,
It was good to
just
let this soak in. There's a lot in this section. Actually, that was very powerful. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It was great.
Okay, so just close your eyes. We'll do a little gratitude for a minute. Take a nice deep breath in. And we did that earlier, values meditation. Just connect back into the energy of gratitude and appreciation. Just feel that in your heart. Breathe it into every pore, every cell, every muscle, your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. In the appreciation of this session of the truth, divine energy that's guided us through this whole session. Some downloads, installing another operating system. So just be grateful for all of that, for the instruction of Yeshua, guidance of the Holy Spirit, mighty companions on the journey, the Lifelong Learning Go course program and community, everyone who joined the sessions. Thank you for joining, everyone. And just give thanks for the rest of your journey. It's going to unfold, as it should over the next 5 weeks. So look forward to tomorrow. We start the text, same time, normal time tomorrow at 12:30 UK time. It's 1:30 French time. And then again at 5 p.m. UK time, 6 p.m. French time for the text reading.
Are Sundays always going to start at 5:30, John, or?
No, it's unusual because I did the afternoon session with. So it'll start earlier because otherwise it goes really late, isn't it? So 12:30, and then we should be done by depending what we got to get through. Some of the sessions, like the Name Your Game, are quite long, but yeah, we should be done by the sort of early to mid evening.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
John, Orly, good session.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jono. Thank you, Orly.
And
Thank
I'll
you.
see you tomorrow.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elaine.
All right. Yeah, Elaine's gone, but yeah.
Oh, she's gone. Okay, good
Okay.
night. Thank you. See you
All
tomorrow.
right. Namaste.
Namaste.
Okay.
Namaste.
Bye for now.